ये सब करने का पॉइंट ही तो यही था ना कि नॉर्मल लाइफ में मजे नहीं आ रहे थे, मजे करने वाला है ना, स्टैंड अप करेंगे, वही तो पॉइंट था ना कि मजा आता है, बड़े नहीं होना, डोंट वांट टू ग्रो अप, want to do this where you tell jokes for a living. It is so, you tell jokes for a living. I mean, sometimes it just boggles my mind. We have just refused to grow up.
It's almost embarrassing sometimes.
No, it's not. Suck it. हम लोग मजे करके, obviously मजा फिर चला जाता है because then it again becomes a job. But मेरा I think I realized my main agenda with this is कि मेरे को बड़े नहीं होना.
एक ऐसा है जिसमें यू हैव इनफ फ्रीडम टू से व्हाटएवर द फक यू वांट. इसमें भी लोग संभालते हैं ना, इसको वो बुरा लग गया, उसको बुरा लग गया. क्या
इंडिया में तो संभालना ही पड़ेगा. इंडिया में नहीं है फ्रीडम भाई. अब मतलब वो एक्चुअली एम्बिग्युइटी है ना. जैसे मैं दुबई में गया तो दुबई में वो लोग, देयर इज एक्चुअली ग्रेटर फ्रीडम इन दुबई फॉर कॉमिक्स बिकॉज उनको बाय लॉ क्या नहीं करना इट इज वेरी क्लियर. उसके अलावा तुम कुछ भी करो तो कोई ऐसा पगला नहीं रहा कि हमारे कल्चर के बारे में कैसन बोल दिया ऐसा बकवास. तुम उधर की रॉयल फैमिली के बारे में नहीं बोल सकते, तुम रिलीजियस नहीं बोल सकते. तो इधर पे बिकॉज
इवन सेक्सुअल इज फाइन.
हाँ आई थिंक इट इज, क्योंकि क्लब्स वगैरह में कर रहे हैं वहां तो वो सब ठीक है. बट देयर आर समथिंग बाय लॉ, तुमने कुछ बोलना ही नहीं है उस शेख रशीद के बारे में, और तुमने इस्लाम वगैरह पे टच नहीं करना. पर फिर वो नहीं है ना कि हमारे ऊँटों के बारे में कैसे बोल दिया. ऊँट तो हमारी सभ्यता का पार्ट है. ये एम्बिग्युइटी नहीं है ना कि लोग खड़े हो जाए.
काफी कुछ तो ऐसे ऐसे लोग एक दूसरे को देख के ही करेंगे. इन्होंने क्या हम भी करेंगे. लॉट ऑफ आउटरेज इज आल्सो एस्पिरेशनल है. इन्होंने क्या हम भी करेंगे.
पता नहीं क्या है ये आउटरेज. क्यों हमारी कंट्री में लोग को लगता है कि इफ यू मेक अ जोक अबाउट समथिंग यू आर इंसल्टिंग दैट थिंग, व्हिच इज नॉट व्हाट यू आर डूइंग. दैट्स नॉट द पॉइंट ऑफ अ जोक.
हम वही बात कर रहे थे. वैसे शायद को बोलता है कि जो क्लब में आके लोग देखते हैं तो कॉन्टेक्स्ट है कि आप देखने आए हो शो. कोई अपने घर पे देख रहा है.
हाँ तो इसमें मुझे लगता है कि थोड़ी हमारी इंडियन कॉमिक्स की भी गलती है. जो तुम देखो कंट्री जो है वो है, तुम चेंज तो नहीं कर सकते हो. तो यू हैव टू बी अ लिटिल केयरफुल अबाउट व्हाट यू आर रीडिंग, राइट? बिकॉज एज यू सेड कि यहाँ पे कंटेक्स्ट है. अब कोई बैठा हुआ है कहीं गाँव में असम में, उसको झाट नहीं पता कि क्या स्टैंड अप है और क्या ट्रूथ टू पावर है क्या है. हाँ मतलब क्योंकि ये तो YouTube पे सबको जा रहा है. तो अंडरस्टैंडेबल. जिसने नहीं देखा स्टैंड अप, जिसको नहीं पता, वो कह रहा है कि कैसे स्टेज पे खड़े होके ऐसे कर रहा है.
इनफैक्ट पीपल डोंट अंडरस्टैंड एट ऑल हाउ दिस वर्क्स. दे फील कि ये बंदा रोज जाके स्टेज पे यही बोलता है. यानी ये जो उसने इंसल्ट किया हमारे भगवान को, वो रोज करता है यही लाइन, और लोग रोज तालियां बजाते हैं. तो दे फील
तो कोई भी नहीं कर रहा है. मैंने आज तक एक कॉमिक नहीं सुना इंडिया में जो किसी भगवान की इंसल्ट कर रहा हो. बट चलो क्या कर सकते हैं, टॉपिक पे कुछ नहीं कर सकते.
अभी प्रोडक्शन का थोड़ा काम कर रहे हैं बॉम्बे में, मैं और एंडी.
जूम पे करने से तो अच्छा ही है.
जूम से भी अच्छा है.
मतलब जूम ठीक है पर ठीक ही है.
ओनली देयर नो ऑप्शन एट ऑल.
हाँ एग्जैक्टली. मतलब अभी मैंने भी दोबारा शुरू किया था इसमें, और शुरू में अच्छा लगता है एक दो दिन, बिकॉज तुम खाली बैठे हो वर्सेस तुम कुछ कर रहे हो, अच्छा लगता है. जब तुम 4-5 कर लो तो फिर मतलब मेरा तो मन उठ ही जाता है. लास्ट टाइम भी ये हुआ था. Yeah, it's not the ideal platform to do it. Goes without saying anything.
I also find it more draining. Like somehow after a Zoom show, I'm more tired than I'm after the stage show. Maybe it's because I have to put more energy to get a response from them, to get a response across the fucking laptop screen. Because a lot of what you do live is energy, right?
Yeah, completely. If the crowd is not with me, एक तो वो vibe that you get that vibe quicker कि अच्छा crowd मेरे साथ नहीं है, वो उधर distract हो गए. इधर पे समझ नहीं आता ना कि 30 में से 6 लोग तुम्हें दिख रहे हैं, बाकी 24 का क्या हाल है. वो बीच शो में तुम्हें रियलाइज होता है कि अरे कोई हंस नहीं रहा. देन इट्स वेरी डिफिकल्ट टू गेट इट बैक. क्योंकि लोग भी अपने घर में चौड़ से बैठे होते हैं ना, नहीं कर सकता तो इंटरेक्शन. वो अपने घर में ऐसे करके बैठा है, क्या इंसान करेगा. वो बदबूसी वो निकल जाएगा वहां से. वो करते भी हैं लोग, क्योंकि माइक भी है उनके पास. तो इट्स डिफिकल्ट.
On stage, I noticed in your act you're very expressive and you have a strong voice on stage. Like you have a stage voice.
वो क्या होता है?
Stage voice is a different voice than a normal voice. so like in person you're very chill when you talk, but like on stage it's a different voice, right? It's still you, but it's a version of you, which is
Yeah, but that's also changing gradually. I think I'm coming धीरे धीरे I'm coming back, I'm coming to my base sort of energy. I'm still figuring that out.
Sure.
मेरा over the last year I think इसलिए मैं ज्यादा वीडियो वगैरह नहीं निकाल रहा because I'm still very unsure of my बहुत constant changes हो रहे हैं तो जब stability नहीं है delivery में I'm still experimenting and figuring out to yeah that is also but yeah I'm sort of gradually I guess also as I'm getting older तो वो उतनी एनर्जी रह भी नहीं गई है कि स्टेज पे 1 घंटा घूमता है तो वो मर्ज हो रहा है अभी धीरे धीरे that's how it should be. I was talking to some song I think प्रखर था and he said I was figuring out क्या delivery क्या so he's like on your worst days when you're not feeling great and whatever can you still do your act
the same way.
That is a good indicator of you know are you being honest and true to yourself or are you putting on an act and I think on most days at least earlier it was completely an act for me not consciously but subconsciously पर अब धीरे धीरे where you're just talking to the audience rather than performing for the audience वो फर्क आ जाता है.
It was a great act and it of course it worked but you can't replicate it every time to the
it has to come naturally जब पहले था वो naturally मेरे से आ रहा था because I mean I think for all comics your stage persona is never a conscious decision something
because you're changing
organically comes over time right? शुरू में मेरा वो था धीरे धीरे चेंज होता है सही भी है it's better to be calmer
honestly
you have more control if you're calmer right
but
no time to react.
it's like I always feel you still have to sell every joke in India but again maybe you're not giving the audience enough credit also ये भी हो सकता है you work on the joke hard enough it will work regardless of whether you're acting it out or not
correct yeah I mean if it's written well it train जाती है sorry friends थोड़ा low budget talk show है मैं gift hamper भी नहीं मिलता
does this happen to you when you're performing here this
नहीं यार मैंने I don't think so I mean when you're performing here तो mic वो भी होते हैं ना speaker वगैरह तो I think the voice sort of
so I performed even in Rebel outside before the club came couple of times वहाँ पे तो train यानी पूरा कैफे ही है
मुंबई का याद आता है ना हैवी टाइम में तो ऐसे ही होता है
वहाँ पे तो ट्रेन हाँ उसका हॉर्न भी बजता है
मैं आ गई तुम्हारा सेट फक करने के लिए
कितने लोगों के स्पेशल्स में भी ट्रेन का आवाज है but it's been what 2 years now since you put a video out
3 साल होने वाला है
3 साल होने वाला है
2.5 हो गया
2.5
तो हाँ अब डालना है प्रेशर आ गया है काफी प्रेशर इसलिए आया क्योंकि बाकी लोग की सक्सेस ज्यादा हो गई
Well, it's amazing that you held out for 2 years plus because very few people can also. I mean, I understand where the confusion comes from कि डालना चाहिए नहीं डालना चाहिए but still people put something out of desperation कुछ तो डाल ही देते हैं ऐसे.
हाँ मेरा वो नहीं था क्योंकि thankfully I mean audience base कॉमिक्सटान से इतना अच्छा बन गया था ना कि people are still buying tickets मतलब अभी तक नहीं डाला और अभी तक if I put a show दिल्ली वगैरह में not in smaller city वो शो अपने आप बिक जाता है थोड़ा सा प्रमोशन करके तो मतलब टचवुड की अभी तक हो रहा है बट इतने ज्यादा भी नहीं खींचना चाहिए लोगों की ना shouldn't take them for granted so much तो अभी टाइम आ गया I will put out a video in a month or 2.
Did you ever do like a full-fledged tour कि फिर बीच में ये सब पैंडेमिक आ गया
चल रहा था यार उस टाइम स्टार्ट किया था I think I'd done 10-15 cities and फिर आ गया था पैंडेमिक but I mean it was I didn't really mind it as well because पहला अपना जो 10 whatever that half of that tour I didn't really enjoy it so I had to figure out कि क्यों नहीं मजा आ रहा मतलब so I wanted a break anyway यूनिवर्स ने ब्रेक दे दिया not the sort of break I was looking for क्योंकि घर में फंस गए थे there's no there's no scope for self inquiry and whatever but हाँ मजा नहीं आया था पहला वाला वो
because of the way the show was going itself like you're not happy with it
I guess on just हाँ I wasn't getting any joy from it मजा नहीं आ रहा था तो I think that happens once you've done your material enough times तो तो वो सब कि टूर कर रहा हूँ और 200 लोग के सामने शो कर रहा हूँ वो सब सुनने में अच्छा है बट तुम्हें स्टेज पे मजा नहीं आ रहा है तो व्हाट इज द पॉइंट ऑफ ऑल ऑफ दैट तो फिर तो तुम हाँ बेसिकली इफ यू आर हैविंग फन ऑन स्टेज देन द शो विल आल्सो गो मच बेटर राइट तो जब मुझे पता लग रहा है कि मुझे मजा नहीं आ रहा और शो अच्छा जा रहा है क्योंकि पता है जोक्स एक सर्टेन लेवल है लिखा हुआ है वो हो जाएगा बट देन फॉर टेकिंग इट फ्रॉम 8 to 10 is basically you having fun with it which I stopped having so
it does get lonely also after
हाँ वो बहुत बड़ा प्रॉब्लम था वो भी मुझे लगा कि क्या है कि मतलब ये सब करने का पॉइंट ही तो यही था ना कि नॉर्मल लाइफ में मजे नहीं आ रहे थे मजे करने वाला है ना स्टैंड अप करेंगे वही तो पॉइंट था ना कि मजा आता है बड़े नहीं होना डोंट वांट टू ग्रो अप want to do this where you tell jokes for a living. Which is so, you tell jokes for a living. I mean, sometimes it just boggles my mind. We have just refused to grow up.
It's almost embarrassing sometimes.
No, it's not. Suck it. हम लोग मजे करके obviously मजा फिर चला जाता है because then it again becomes a job. But मेरा I think I realized my main agenda with this is कि मेरे को बड़े नहीं होना. And I still get कि open mic के बाद I hang out with comics हम मस्ती करते हैं 4 घंटे वहाँ बैठे रहते हैं. Sorry, मस्ती sounds very low budget किया है लूडो खेल रहे नहीं हम लोग अच्छे. अच्छा, we have fun. But that's the good thing about it.
It's a worthy goal.
Yeah, that's why I like it. I like going to open mics. I like hanging out with the local comics. वही तो community और वो मजा आता है. क्या अकेले तुम जा रहे हो होटल में 12 बजे 1 बजे सुबह पहुंच रहे हो फिर weird schedule है तुम्हारा. It's not very rewarding.
Yeah. I started when I was 29 or something, and I would notice more and more that every room.
Started when you were 29.
Yeah.
20 साल से कम.
Yeah, before we that started, I would notice that whatever room I'm walking into, be it like any venue, cafe, meeting, I'm the oldest person in that room.
Yeah, we've also noticed.
Because everybody my age had tapped out already, and I think most people tap.
But तू भी तो बहुत अकेले shows करते हैं ना, तो how does that not get boring?
It is.
Or have you made your peace with it?
I've made my peace with it.
Loneliness comes with being an adult.
Yeah, and it does. I think everybody is lonely. People in relationships are also lonely. They just don't know it completely yet.
Correct. I mean, loneliness is a state of mind.
If
you can figure out how to be happy with yourself.
Yeah, I think that's the.
But ये सब सुनने में अच्छा लगता है पर अकेले. Have you figured it out though?
No, I think.
Or does it stay to somewhere bug you कि यार ये?
It does. I sometimes feel loneliness is the final frontier to get over. You get over that, then there's nothing else left to conquer. Everything else can be made peace with, arranged with, walked around. Loneliness, I think it gets to everybody, even the most popular guys, even people.
For sure.
So if you can get over that, and also I sometimes feel that even people who have the best social lives, the best personal lives, also eventually you have to make your peace with yourself only. Not even a life partner can help you there.
Correct.
And people keep delaying that homework till the very end when there is very less time left. At some point, everybody has homework left. When I say homework, I mean unresolved issues, questions about life that you never answered or gave enough time to. And that will only happen when you're alone or when you're with yourself. तो वो कोई करता ही नहीं. So in a way, I feel इस बहाने सही. Or the way stand-up works economically, it can only be a solo show. Otherwise, you can't make money. So, like I said even earlier, we enjoy line-up shows the most. Right, when we get to be with other comics, पर वो नहीं होता अभी. Public भी नहीं आती, पैसा भी नहीं बनता उसमें.
Public नहीं आती क्योंकि बड़े comics करते नहीं हैं. और बड़े comics करते नहीं हैं क्योंकि पैसा नहीं है. Which I find a little weird because तुम पैसे कमाने के बहुत avenues है once you become an established name, right? तो क्यों नहीं है? इतना ज़्यादा ये पैसे के पीछे मतलब ये मेरा constant एक वो है ग्रिप जो मैं करता रहता हूँ. I also feel like line-up shows वगैरह कर लो. There are other avenues जिसको पैसा कमाना है और कंटेंट वगैरह डाल लो. YouTube से इतना पैसा आता है.
और do smaller shows, that's also okay.
हाँ, मतलब एक the sense of community gets lost after someone makes it big. Then they're like मेरा तो हो गया. तुम non-famous वाले अपना देख लो. मैं तो निकल पड़ा यहाँ से. वो I wish that changes.
You're performing alone, you're traveling alone also. So it is.
वहाँ देख के बात करना होता है क्या बार बार?
नहीं. मुझे आदत पड़ गई है.
पाने की ऑडियंस को मेरी पूरी शक्ल दिखेगी ऐसा दिखना.
मुझे सेंटर के हमको अंडरस्टैंड करने की आदत पड़ गई. बट यही है अपना.
बरखा जब की तरह be the people.
Be the people. There's such a cliche line. We as a society. We the people. So है lonely, but I feel this is the only way to pursue like a touring stand-up lifestyle because there is no circuit. You have to do it yourself.
करना तो पड़ेगा. How you make your peace with it is up to you. Because I like doing the Dua Suri show. क्योंकि हम लोग 2 लोग जाते हैं ना, तुम जहाँ भी जा रहे हो फिर मजा तो आता है. Next city जा रहे हो. I like traveling. You like traveling. Just that कभी कभार अकेला traveling is. So
I don't stay in the hotel room only. Hotel room is just for sleeping. I'm out wherever I'm going. Even if it's not a very big, interesting city, I'm sure the mohalla is new for you. The shops are new. The people are new. The food is new. I think there's so much to see everywhere, and not from a material point of view also. कि इससे material बनेगा.
नहीं.
Just experience.
From a human being point of view, ना, which is important है. पर उसमें भी फिर ये प्रॉब्लम हो जाता है when you're touring most of the times थोड़ा back to back shows ज़्यादा होता है, so you don't really have time. But मैंने सोचा है कि I will make it a point to the extent possible कि मैं 2 दिन तो जाऊँ. एक दिन शो के लिए, एक दिन घूमो तो सही यार, इतना बड़ा एडवांटेज है हमारा.
And also weekdays are free. Once you're done on Sunday, I never come back on Monday at home. Monday क्या ही करेंगे घर पे जाकर? मैं Tuesday जाता हूँ minimum. तो कहीं से देख के ही जाएंगे because experience is life. That is it. Like, you sit at home or in a hotel room and analyze and read and write. That is you analyzing life. It's only a faint reflection of life. Life is out there.
Yeah.
Even the smallest experience is actually living. तो वो तो हम करते नहीं, हम उसे बस बंद रूम में बैठे कहीं पे भी.
हाँ, कुछ लोग को उसमें भी खुशी मिलती है, ठीक है, but I mean, वो ये everybody has to figure out what their thing is. I like going out and experiencing it, even though if I don't really do anything, but जाके देखना, खाना कुछ नया खा लिया, कुछ नया देख लिया.
Yeah.
Monotony of life break करने के लिए ये important.
So then, sitting at home in the pandemic, did it work for you? Like you say, some people like it. Some people are saying we are introverts, हमको ऐसे भी chill करना था life में, अब sanction मिल गया chill करने का. So did you like that or कि it was?
I liked it because एक तो कुछ भी नहीं था करने को, और more importantly तुम्हें पता था कि बाकी लोग भी कुछ नहीं कर रहे हैं, तो वो which is very important because अगर I enjoy not doing anything, मैं ऐसे ट्रैवल करने चला गया, लेकिन फिर इंस्टाग्राम पे देखो कि इसने ये रील बना दी, इसने इतने मिलियन व्यूज ले लिए, तो भाई ह्यूमन तुम हो ही ना, इट स्टार्ट्स अफेक्टिंग यू एट सम लेवल. बट जब मैं उस टाइम पैंडेमिक टाइम घूम रहा था तो मुझे पता था कि सब घरों में बैठे हुए हैं, कोई काम नहीं कर रहा है, तो वो कंपैरिजन वाली चीज नहीं थी. तो इट वाज गुड फॉर सेल्फ वर्क, सॉर्टिंग आउट पर्सनल हेड स्पेस एंड ऑल दैट. उस सेंस में तो काफी अच्छा था. आई थिंक ओवरऑल मेरे लिए, आई मीन ऑफ कोर्स इट सक्स दैट आई एम सेइंग दिस, मेरे लिए थोड़ा पॉजिटिव ही था. But that tells you about the how much privilege we have. But जो है सो है, क्या कहते हैं.
You think some people must actually be looking forward to another lockdown, because what you said was so true, that because everybody else is not working, you feel that this is the right time that I can relax.
Yeah. Without any guilt.
Without any guilt.
अब तो but I think everyone's fed up, man. अब तो मेरा भी मतलब, but the good thing with the pandemic was good thing with the pandemic it gave me a renewed sense of purpose. कि उसके बाद मैं आया हूँ कि अब stand up करना है. I took that time off, whatever, figured shit out, and अब because you can't you have to be honest about it कि अगर अंदर से आ रहा है तो आ रहा है, right? कि you can't fool yourself into thinking कि this is, I'm passionate about this. वो मेरा चला गया था for that, whatever that was. Sure. And that has now come back on its own. कि करना है, you know, I want to work on this.
Does it feel different now, the way you approach stand-up?
There's just more enthusiasm about it. There is that I feel like doing it rather than कि I know that I should be doing it. I should be making material. I should be hitting open mics. Versus now I want to. Right? तो अभी ये छोटा सा लॉकडाउन आया तो मैं immediately Zoom show डाल दिया because I was in the flow कि मैं open mics करना है, material ना material. लॉकडाउन लग गया तो ऐसे fuck it, डालो Zoom. तेरे को भी पता है कि छोटा सा ब्रेक भी तुम ले लो, you just get so disconnected from everything. कोई thoughts नहीं आते, you lose your rhythm, you lose.
Like a sport almost.
Yeah, but the thing with the sport is you can still practice at home. But if you're not going up on stage, तो you just अभी 1 महीने बाद भी दोबारा चढ़ने में मेरे को थोड़ा फट रही है कि पहले 1-2 दिन तो मैं हगूंगा. I know that, right? Because वो delivery क्या है, कैसे बोलना है.
Yeah.
All that shit comes in.
Does any comparison with Dua still persist amongst the comments and the audience, or even for you?
Not so much in the comments and stuff. I'm sure maybe in people's heads, but not for me, and not that I see in the comments and stuff.
Okay.
Because I think
time
अपना diversify हो गया, right? He's doing his own thing, I'm doing my own thing.
Yeah.
But that was the sort of unfortunate part कि हम दोनों का करियर एक कंपटीशन से तो स्टार्ट हुआ ही और आपस में भी कंपैरिजन से स्टार्ट हुआ, राइट? बिकॉज आई मीन आर्ट इज नॉट कंपटीशन, बट हमारा को जो प्लेटफॉर्म मिला था स्टार्टेड विद द कंपटीशन. तो यू हैव टू फिगर आउट अ वे टू गेट आउट ऑफ दैट माइंडसेट कि ये रेस नहीं है, उसको इतना मिल रहा है, मेरे को उतना. कंपेयर अगर मैं करने लग गया तो फिर तो मैं आई एम फक्ड.
And you did it, and it's amazing because you held out till you were sure about what you want to do.
Yeah, मतलब हाँ, it's a fight you have to fight in your head when you are whatever trying to be yourself, be something different. Being something different comes with being yourself. पर वो ये सारा प्रेशर ही कंपैरिजन का है, राइट? As soon as you start comparing yourself,
all of it.
just
Yeah.
I'm at peace when I'm by myself. I'm not at peace when I'm comparing. So I very consciously try to get out of that space. कि नहीं, रेस नहीं है, अपना सीन है, नहीं निकालना मेरे को 3 साल वीडियो, 4 साल भी नहीं निकालना, नहीं निकालूंगा, रेपरकशन मेरे को फेस करने होंगे, बट अगर नहीं निकालना तो why should I do what the rest of the industry is doing? क्योंकि ये तो फिर रैट रेस होगी, इसी से तो बाहर निकलने के लिए था कि मुझे नहीं करना जो दुनिया का यही करना।
Still doing a job without realizing it. In a way. They say artists often is dependent on what he chooses not to do versus what he chooses to do. Especially now because options इतना है, आप कुछ भी डाल सकते हो कहीं पे भी।
कुछ भी डाल सकते हो, कुछ भी कर सकते हो। वही है, तो I guess a lot of comics are, कुछ लोग को stand up ही करना है। Some people want to use this as a platform to get into something bigger. It's all valid, but yeah, everybody has an option.
When you went for Comicstaan, that time it was the first season, and back then comics were very skeptical कि यार ये है तो reality show और हम इसी की बजाते हैं, अभी हम लोग खुद कैसे करेंगे, will it even be good or not? Later, of course, people saw how big it was and how it was done. But what made you go for it?
मेरा रीजन सिंपल है कि मेरा लाइफ में I find it difficult to do stuff that I unless I have a stick up my ass, right? कोई ठंडा लेके, क्योंकि I guess बचपन से ये आदत पड़ जाती है कि माँ बाप कह रहे हैं पढ़ाई करो तो तुम पढ़ाई करो। तो उस टाइम मेरा अगेन थोड़ा स्टैग्नेंट हो गया था where I was ना, मैं हार्ड वर्क and I don't like working hard, मतलब that's a shitty thing to be, but
No, it's not. It's okay.
हाँ, it's okay, but not with the current value system that society believes in, right? Where you are judged by how well you are doing and how much you are earning, which is bullshit. मतलब अंबानी और मैं दोनों मरने वाले हैं। तो how does it matter? I mean, at the end we are all animals. वो भी बंदर का ancestor है, मैं बंदर का ancestor हूँ। We are okay existing. We are just passing time until we all die, right? That is the whole point. You figure out how you want to pass time. But everyone is being judged with that same value system कि तुम्हारा कितना पैसा कमाया, तुम कितना सक्सेसफुल हो, तुम्हारा में कितना एम्बिशन है। नहीं है एम्बिशन, नहीं है मेरा बंदर जो था पुराना वाला वो खुश था, दिन का 1 केला खाता था, मैं जो उसको नहीं था ना कि वो सामने वाला 5 केले खा रहे थे,
ग्लूटेन फ्री केला।
सब मैं भूल गया सवाल क्या था, क्वेश्चन क्या था।
YouTube वीडियो में नीचे लिख के आता है, is it made for kids? मैं वहाँ पे no लिखता हूँ because of things like this. No, this is
नहीं, kids should watch it so that you can fucking realize what you're getting into ना, कि not everyone needs to, सबको सेम सिस्टम से कैसे जज कर सकते हो। Anyway, the question was Comicstaan और Comicstaan, हाँ तो यही था मेरा रीजन कि मेरे को I needed a reason to work hard. I needed something and I had enough trust in it because all these big names were there, right? Kanan, Biswa, Tanmay, तो मुझे था कि बकवास तो नहीं बनाएंगे। This is not going to be an Indian Idol or a whatever tearjerker and shit like that. So that was the only reason कि मेरे को एक push चाहिए था अपने आप काम करने के लिए।
Okay. Because you're already invested and you're doing great already in general. I mean, well, did you put a video out first? नहीं. There was no video.
वीडियो वगैरह कुछ नहीं निकाला था, thankfully. Like my parents had been after me before that कि वीडियो निकालो।
Parents have been after.
Which is the new कि पढ़ाई कर लो, वो उसने कर लिया। मतलब they're well intentioned when they're saying that, but फिर मैंने नहीं निकाला and I went to this Comicstaan with support and they're like बेटा you were right कि वीडियो नहीं निकाला। अब फिर पीछे पड़ गए वीडियो निकालो। अब पता नहीं क्या करना पड़ेगा, Comicstaan के सीजन में जाना पड़ेगा। तो हाँ, वीडियो उस टाइम नहीं निकाला था because I didn't think my material was worth releasing, which is also अभी भी लगता ही है कि तो घटिया है।
That's
I think थोड़ा ज़्यादा ही self critical mindset।
हाँ, I mean, you will always never be completely satisfied if you are very critical of your art because you're always improving yourself. At least the skill is improving. Thoughts may be already there, but skill on stage keeps improving.
हाँ, especially in these times, मतलब these are our formative years as comics, right? तो I want to give myself the space कि थोड़ा whatever learn and grow. अभी तो yeah, we are quite far away from being good comics also, I would say. तो बहुत टाइम है, तो आराम से करने का।
But obviously the world is speeding up now क्योंकि 1-2 साल में तो फेम आना ही घूमता है, otherwise किसे होगा।
हाँ, तो see the reason I can say all of this sitting here is because Comicstaan gave me that push, it gave me that fame, and it gave me the financial capacity to now go and experiment and do my do.
Okay.
तो वो भी एक रीजन था कि मुझसे अगर मैं किसी को बोलता हूँ कि मुझे तो अपना फोकस करना है थोड़ा आर्ट कैसे, and then they're like but you did something commercial like Comicstaan. But I'm like so that gave me the cushion कि अब मैं जाके कुछ कर सकता हूँ। मैं अभी
now you're using that for
हाँ exactly. So that's why I'm not. Some people say, you had a high. Why didn't you follow up and take that high higher? But that was not. मेरा था कि ये आ गया, चलो अब थोड़ा figure out. Because my perspective of stand-up till that stage was very different. उस टाइम तो यही था ना कि जो बोल के लाभ मिल जाए कर लो. Right? Comicstaan में material जो मैंने नोएडा और ये और वो, तो it wasn't कि thought क्या है, ये क्या है. I wasn't that person. I didn't watch a lot of stand-up.
Okay.
But after that, I was like, अब थोड़ा. I want to figure out क्या बोल के हंसाना है becomes important rather than कि खाली हंसाना है. So that shift in style and perspective came.
You still do your photography on the side?
नहीं भाई 3 साल से कैमरा भी नहीं छुआ है.
हाँ.
मेरा it's very I don't know क्या न्यूरल सिस्टम है मेरे. एक बार मन उठ गया तो उठ गया, फिर नहीं मन करने का तो नहीं.
बिल्कुल नहीं, मन भी नहीं करता अभी तक.
नहीं, फोन से ही खुश हूँ मैं. मन तो क्या ही करेगा, किसका मन करेगा 12 घंटे जाके मैं वेडिंग फोटोग्राफी करूँ.
That is a corporate gig, but
हाँ.
even in general, otherwise, wouldn't you do you would do other stuff, right?
I mean, it was mostly weddings because even when I started, दो एक तो था कि नौकरी छोड़ दी तो कुछ पैसा कमाना है. Secondly, I enjoyed doing weddings. I specifically wanted to do weddings.
Yeah.
और उस टाइम ऐसा भी नहीं था कि जितना अभी एक candid wedding photography का scene पड़ा हुआ है, उस टाइम नहीं था. Because I really एक बार मैं कैमरा लेके अपने कजन की शादी में गया था. And because Indian weddings are so beautiful, one, तो photos अच्छा आता है. Secondly, there's a lot of emotions involved, right? The whole spectrum of emotions in those 2-3 days. And I love capturing those emotions.
Okay.
और इमोशन है और पीछे फेरी लाइट लगी हुई है जो बोके में ऐसे ऐसे करके ब्लर्ड आ रही है. वाह क्या फोटो है. तो यू हैव एवरीथिंग टू गेट अ गुड फोटो. अभी क्या वाइल्ड लाइफ फोटोग्राफी 4 दिन जंगल में कैमरा लेके बैठे रहो कि शेर आएगा. इधर तो पता है ना कि ब्राइड ने रोना है और मम्मी ने ऐसे करके पकड़ना है, तो फोटो तो अच्छी आने वाली है. तो that's why I wanted to do wedding.
I thought weddings were only like your paid gigs, but you were doing.
That was my main thing.
अच्छा.
शुरू में enjoyed doing it also, but फिर वो थोड़ा एक टाइम आ गया था where I was like, I need to level up now in terms of my business, also in terms of my skills. And do I want to put in that effort? No. Because नहीं करना, that would be too much effort. Yeah, my technical skills weren't that strong. वो तो मैं editing में cover up कर लेता था. But I was like, अगर मेरे को पैसा कमाना है, इसमें घुसना है, तो I can't get fraudगिरी तो नहीं कर सकता ना. To level up my game. लोग हायर करने हैं, वो सब करना है, और वो नहीं चाहिए मेरे को. Can't do that shit. फिर ये stand up perfect है यार. अपना कुछ networking करने की जरूरत, कुछ से नहीं करना. आओ joke सुनाओ.
And if you're funny, nobody can stop you. You may not reach the highest levels for whatever reason, but you will always be on stage.
But again, what is this pursuit of the highest levels, right? For example, जैसे मैं I was in धर्मकोट और वहाँ कोई there was this guy, white guy, I don't know क्या ethnicity थी, और वो इलेक्ट्रिक सितार बजा था.
Okay.
और वो एक रात को परफॉर्मेंस में आया and mind blowing, मतलब too good. और उसने वहाँ पे परफॉर्मेंस का क्या बोला कि मैं और मेरे 4-5 दोस्त हैं, मैं खाना खिलाते सब कर दूँ और ज़्यादा कुछ करने की जरूरत नहीं. And he just does this, I think he's just traveling and doing this. So does that make him
less of an artist
compared to someone जो pop charts में है जो. तो कहीं ना कहीं we have to sort of gain this perspective also कि क्यों है कि ये highest मुझे जाना है, क्यों सबको अंबानी बनना है, क्यों अंबानी तो एक ही बनेगा ना, फिर बाकी सारे disappoint हो गए. तो everyone has to figure out for themselves कि ये क्या है, highest level का artist बनने का क्या मतलब.
ये numbers
कोई मतलब क्यों पैसा कमाना है, comfortable life चाहिए, दारू पीनी है, मतलब क्या है, what is the, क्या करोगे तुम ज्यादा इतना पैसा कमाओगे, तुम अगर अंदर से lonely हो रात को you're jerking yourself off to sleep, what difference does that amount of money make to you? So priorities में थोड़ा figure out करना है क्या है.
Ideally that should be how you pursue art, just for the heck of it.
और पैसा important है, ये तो मैं बिल्कुल नहीं कह रहा कि मतलब पैसा is very important, but can't be the most important thing.
And also how much is enough?
Yeah, it's never enough.
You can get by at the very minimum amount of money also, if you choose to. Although with music and other art form, one difference is that stand-up you need an audience. Otherwise it's not even comedy to begin with, which is a challenge. Musician can perform anyways by himself in the hills.
हाँ, so यहाँ पे मतलब you need a certain amount of fame so that you can pull in people. So you need that amount of success for sure.
Yeah. I sometimes feel that maybe in the future the need to do stand up for me might also just melt away. Because this has to be a strong need, otherwise you can't get up on stage and do this. It's like you're imposing your will on people. No, it is violent in a way if you think about it. It's one person forcing his opinion on other people. And unless there's a huge need behind you to do it, you may not have the gumption to do it on stage.
Yeah, and it's also it's an emotionally taxing profession also, right? Because if you अगर तुम गाना गा रहे हो for example, right, और अच्छा नहीं गया, तो I feel like it's a little easier on your soul than if you do stand up, because stand up में मैं आया हूँ कि सुनो मेरा opinion, मेरी life और ये, तो लोगों ने तुम्हें रिजेक्ट किया है, right? तुम्हारे थॉट्स को, तुम अपना रोना लेके आए हो कि मेरी गर्लफ्रेंड भाग गई, लोग लाइक तो फनी क्या है, तो it's they have rejected your whole whatever, your persona, your emotions, whatever you came with, तो it's very personal, that rejection. तो वो सहने के लिए मतलब you need motivation, you should really want to do it,
or really thick skin, maybe really thick skin, I don't know.
पता नहीं भाई कैसे होती है लोगों की स्किन, मैं तो आज भी कुछ शो हो रहा होता है, बहुत बुरा लगता है यार. It's easier than earlier for sure. पहले तो अस्तित्व हिल जाता था, अब तो अपने आप को प्रूव तो कर लिया ना कि हाँ मैं फनी हूँ. Now it's not, you don't question your whole existence before what doesn't go well.
Yeah.
But it still hurts.
You said you able to take some time off for yourself with the pandemic, otherwise work on yourself. What do you do particularly? Do you meditate? Do you read? Do you go away somewhere?
तो पैंडेमिक में I started all of this. Reading वाली habit मेरी पूरी छूट गई थी. I picked that up again after like I think 5, 6, 7 years or something. So that was one positive. I got into spirituality. I started meditating. I started reading a lot about all of that. Also did some courses. पूरा नहीं किया, but online courses. Like I did a very interesting course which is called Buddhism and evolutionary psychology or something like that. And it was very interesting. It talked about whatever Buddhism has spoken about, desires and all of that, and how evolutionary psychology says the same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah. Ki why is running after your desires pointless? Because all desires are ultimately, it's evolution sort of pushing you towards what evolution thinks is best for life to propagate.
Correct.
So it's all sex क्यों चाहिए? What is why the innate need? ताकि बच्चा पैदा करो और life continue करे, right? ये सब evolution का ही खेल है.
Yeah.
So and then understanding your brain, because I have had my issues with mental health. That so my focus was sort of, and that gives you perspective, right? If you can understand the workings of your brain, ki why am I feeling the way I'm feeling? Why do we do what we do? Then it becomes a little easier to deal with, right? So all of that, and meditation start kiya. It's the first thing I've been doing regularly.
Yeah, still do it. More or less.
4-5 महीना break ले लिया था. And then I started feeling fucked again. Then I started again. Now I'm doing it every day for the last 2 months. 2 महीना हो गया.
Okay.
So it is meditation is one thing that I know is the answer to a lot of my problems and a lot of other people's problems also. तो मुझे पता तो है कि मुझे जिंदगी भर करना है. ये उतार चढ़ाव तो होता रहेगा. This is something I know that, and I can see the benefit, right? And I can see the benefit, and it's not very difficult to do compared to going to a gym or something like that, which I find बहुत मुश्किल है.
I think for some people it is more difficult. People who just can't fucking sit straight or sit in one place.
5 मिनट से स्टार्ट करना है ना. जिम में तो मैं तो जाते ही घंटा करना पड़ता है. तो 5 मिनट से स्टार्ट करो. But working out is also as important.
Yeah, there are different things in many ways. But how long do you do it every day? Like,
completely depends. Abhi I'm back to doing like between 20 to 30 minutes twice a day.
Okay.
I try to do twice. बीच में कभी वेला होता हूँ 3 बार भी कर लेता हूँ. But I try to do it twice at least.
Do you do something specific? Technique?
नहीं, so नहीं, not really. I do a lot of different guided meditations. मैं विपासना का कोर्स करा हुआ है, but that was 5 years ago and I never sort of followed up after that.
You went for the 10-day boot?
Yeah, पूरा मैं गया था. उस टाइम कुछ नहीं पता था मेडिटेशन क्या होती है, क्या करते हैं. Just लोगों ने बोला था अच्छा होता है तो मैं चला गया. And I will do it again, but फटती है थोड़ा ना सोच के कि आप 10 दिन 8 घंटे रोज मेडिटेट करना. और उसमें प्रॉब्लम और कुछ नहीं है, बस ये है कि पीठ में बहुत दर्द हो जाता है यार पीठ में और वो चौड़ा मार के जो तुम बैठते हो ना दैट इज जस्ट वन
It is, isn't it? I always imagine that to be the most difficult.
दैट इज द मोस्ट बात नहीं करना तो भाई ऐसे ऐसे मुंह बंद कर दो वैसे नहीं अच्छा अच्छा बात करना दैट्स द इजी पार्ट अबाउट
There's a comic saying that, guys.
इट या सो
They do give a backlash, but only for older people.
हाँ तुम पीछे वो करके बैठ सकते हो आई डोंट नो इफ यू कैन लाइक आर्ट ऑफ लिविंग वाला मैंने कोर्स किया था उसमें तुम्हें एक फोल्डेबल सा ना ऐसा होता है नीचे कुशन ऐसा कुशन
Yeah.
तो तुम नीचे वाले कुशन पे बैठ गए तो इट सपोर्ट्स बैक भी खड़ा हो जाता है आई डोंट नो विपासना में अलाउड होता है कि नहीं बट विपासना का होल पॉइंट इज कि दे डोंट वांट यू टू टेक दैट कंफर्ट बिकॉज इट इज अबाउट डिटैचमेंट टू सफरिंग
Yeah, is that part of
it's about just watching whatever happens to your body right watching just staying in awareness not getting attracted to the good things and not running away from the bad things just being in an equanimous place and just watching and observing क्या हो रहा है तो अगर दर्द हो रहा है तो a reaction to pain like if I slap your hand you will instinctively move it away right that's reacting to that pain
Yeah.
but if you're in a place of awareness I hit you here you just watch your pain instead of and you watch that feeling pass and pass because the whole funda is that nothing lasts the good times don't last the bad times don't last so you don't get attached or you don't run away from it you just watch it and then you are in a place of stability
it is it.
सुनने में तो बहुत सही लगता है पर इसको practice
The mind is never really at rest. They say after years maybe it comes to a point.
I'm looking forward to getting like dementia, Alzheimer's. No pressure past का कुछ नहीं कोई यादें नहीं कुछ दिल टूटा हुआ गर्लफ्रेंड कुछ मैं genuinely मैं I'm waiting to get dementia कि कुछ समझ नहीं आ dementia में तुम मर जाओ कोई एंजाइटी नहीं कुछ पता ही नहीं हो रहा क्या चल रहा है ना पागलपन में निकल जाओ that is my aim and ambition for life.
Again, this is not meant for kids. This one.
Yes, kids, you will grow up one day and you will relate to what I'm saying. Otherwise, there is just life has too much shit, man. Too much pain. कभी कुत्ता मर गया, कभी प्यार छोड़ गया, कभी बाकी कॉमिक्स का करियर ज्यादा अच्छा चला गया. एल्जाइमर नहीं नो मतलब अभी कोई ऑफेंड ले लेगा कि मेरी दादी को एल्जाइमर है ऐसे कैसे बोल दिया तुमने. मैं फुल सपोर्ट में हूँ उनके पर मैं कह रहा हूँ कि मेरे को डिमेंशिया.
And you should know that Dadi is in a happy place than you because.
हाँ, exactly. Like my nani, she passed away I think last year. तो but for the she was 98, 99 times और वो 10-20 साल पहले से ही because her hearing went away and I think gradually eyes also not so much but hearing एक बार तुम्हारा बंद हो गया तो थोड़ा बाहर से तुम eyes start going away new inputs and new information stops coming you right coming to you तो वो वैसे भी अभी बातें करती थी तो 30 साल 40 साल पुरानी करती थी उनकी मेमोरीज ही वहीं से बची थी तो इसलिए वो खुश रहती थी मतलब शी वाज जस्ट कि हमारे 1950s में तो ऐसा होता था वो होता था मेरे को भी वैसा है स्टेज में जाना है कि वेयर आई एम जस्ट सिटिंग अराउंड लाइक एन इडियट की नहीं कुछ याद ही नहीं यहाँ खाना खाते थे बचपन में इधर जाते थे कितना अच्छा होता था चाहिए नहीं नॉस्टैल्जिया नहीं चाहिए.
Although you need someone to care for you in your old age, I guess by the time we are old, there will be some app for it.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
Yeah.
There's a friend who told me that in her free time she looks up old age homes just in case because she knows most of us are going to end up alone.
That's the problem, you know. When I think of something like marriage, I'm not कि शादी हुआ तो हो जाएगा. पर अभी ऐसा है कि यार फिर 60 साल की उम्र में ध्यान कौन रखेगा अगर बच्चे नहीं होते. And I find it fascinating how your perspective about love changes, right? Because when you're 20, you're like, oh, I want to find the love of my life, जो मेरा हाथ पकड़ेगी और मेरे दिल में गुदगुदी होगी. और अभी मुझे लग रहा है कि यार कोई लूडो खेलने के लिए चाहिए होगा. 70 साल के बाद में पॉटी कौन साफ करेगा हमारी? तो बीवी नहीं करेगी, बच्चे करेंगे. So from a very romantic viewpoint, you get to a very practical viewpoint.
Yeah, so insurance policy at best.
हाँ वही है, exactly. I'm sure becoming a parent is great and all of that, but it's also an insurance policy.
There's this quote from a psychologist that said that when you meet a couple on the 50th wedding anniversary, don't congratulate them, but ask them what price their soul had to pay
to stay together for 50 years.
For 50 years, because it does change. You know, you're not the person you would have been otherwise. Maybe you're a better person. You don't know what it is. Maybe you're not.
But I mean, if you put in that time, then maybe it was worth it.
You got no other way but to accept. You're too bought in now. It's like religion. I feel many old people, towards the dying days, they lose faith, but now it's too late to admit it to themselves also because they're too far in now. so invested, because when your mortality is facing you like so up close, that's the real test of your faith. What you really did in the name of faith throughout your entire life was just rituals and random activities. You didn't mean anything inherently, you just followed it.
Yeah.
And now it's not really helping you
Absolutely.
in your moment of crisis. But it's too late now. You have to keep up that part.
That depends on what your faith was based on, right? If it's not an experiential faith, it's just based on कि किताब में लिखा है कि ये करना है और तुमने करके अपने आप को believe, but you never experience that feeling of whatever that divine is. So then your faith is shaky, which is that is organized religion, right? कि तुम्हें बता दिया ये करना है.
इस दिन ये नहीं खाना, इस दिन ये खाना है बस.
हाँ, मतलब that's again very interesting because the earlier spirituality के prophets, whoever they were in all religions, the religion started with them having a spiritual experience, having a mystical experience, right? Experiencing the divine through themselves. And then as it started getting passed down, instead of the experiential religion, it started being कि one guy at the hierarchy was the head of your temple or your church or whatever, being your conduit to the divine.
Yeah.
And then you just do what they are telling you to do instead of trying to experience the mystical in whatever way you can.
And many people say that original person who did it was on mushrooms, so we never know.
Exactly, which is what I mean by experiential. I don't want to specify what I meant, but I mean mystical experiences can come in a majority of ways. Mushrooms and psychedelics are one of them.
Yeah.
But psychedelics are a major way to experience it. I was reading about the Greeks and there was a temple, वो जगह का नाम नहीं याद मेरे को, बहुत weird है. तो वहाँ पे in all of their texts, right, they talk about उस temple में सब जाते थे to have these experiences and they used to drink this a beer लिखा है उसमें, barley का drink. बार्ली का ड्रिंक उस एरिया में जहाँ उगता है वहाँ पे एक फंगस है अर्गॉट, राइट? अर्गॉट इज द फंगस जिसमें से मॉडर्न साइंटिस्ट ने एसिड LSD जो ड्रग है वो डिराइव कर रहे हैं. और उस एरिया में जो बार्ली उगता है वो ग्रीक वाले एरिया में, उसमें अर्गॉट का टेंडेंसी है जाने का. So the interpretation is कि they were drinking some sort of psychedelic drink. आजकल इलीगल है दोस्तों, drugs are bad, religion is great. I don't know what he's talking about. But
what are you reading currently?
Abhi I am just finishing this book. I follow this guy called Ram Das, spiritual sort of guru. He died last year in November or something. So it's his biography, autobiography type thing.
Okay.
And I bought a new book. So I've got into this place कि कुछ भी book exciting लगती है तो मैं खरीद के मंगा लेता हूँ. अब घर पे पड़ी हुई है. एक book मैंने भी मंगाई है. It's called The Deep State. It talks about the deep state in India. I'm excited to read that.
This is Jovi Joseph.
हाँ. तो पढ़ा है क्या?
I've read his previous book, which is Feast of Vultures, which is also very great. Journalism, investigative journalism, जो आजकल होता ही नहीं है. And deep state also is a buzzword right now. So, but do you read in general? What do you tend to read more? Do you read philosophy? Do you read spirituality?
I try to read stuff जिसमें से I can learn something. So a lot of non-fiction. Even though I've realized it's easier to read fiction, obviously, right? Because storyline है and you're always like कि क्या होने वाला है. I've read a couple of very good fictional books also, but mostly non-fiction. So एक book है, it's called The Body, This Fat, and it's very interesting. It has a lot of
The Body. That's the title.
So by this guy who wrote वो एक book famous हुई थी, it was called The History of the World or something. तो पुराने से लेके आज तक उसने बताया. So it's about the human body and कैसे discoveries हुई थी over a period of time and everything about it. Stuff like that. And there's a book called Breath, which is about this guy James something Nestor. तो उसका research over breathing techniques and what difference does it make? How do you breathe? Now breathing from the nose versus the mouth. Stuff like this. जिससे थोड़ा कुछ नया.
The whole book is on the breath.
Completely on the breath. कि different cultures में क्या techniques use हो रही हैं, modern science experiments में क्या बता रहा है. क्योंकि हमारे culture में तो है प्राणायाम का, हमें पता है करना है and how it helps. But उसके पीछे scientific basis क्या है?
So it does help. Right?
It definitely helps. I mean the knowledge that our culture has is amazing, right? बट ऑब्वियसली इट्स नॉट साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन एंड आजकल हम उसी पे ट्रस्ट करते हैं जो साइंटिफिकली प्रूवन हो. सो देयर इज यू नो द वेस्ट इज ट्राइंग टू रेप्लिकेट व्हाट वी हैव बीन डूइंग. दे कॉल इट बाय डिफरेंट नेम्स बट हम लोग बहुत सालों हजारों सालों से करते आ रहे हैं. तो हमारा कल्चर बहुत ग्रेट है. ऑब्वियसली ये लोग जब राइट वाले उसको प्रॉफिट फिर वो बोल देते हैं कि हम तो एयरक्राफ्ट उड़ा रहे थे तो फिर मजाक बन जाता है. बट देयर इज अ लॉट ऑफ डेप्थ इनटू द नॉलेज वी हैव.
There is, but then it comes with baggage. So then it's never really like one or two good things. It's like you buy the whole thing together. So everything we did was great. We didn't put a single wrong step anywhere.
वो तो exactly. But that depends on you as a reader. You have to be careful about it.
Yeah. People fight over kings also. This king was better. ये हमारा था, वो उनका राजा था. All the kings were the same at some level because you cannot be a king.
हमारा तुम्हारा का समझ नहीं आता कि मैं और तू सेम पिन कोड में पैदा हुए हैं तो क्या है क्या हमारे किंग हमारे तुम तो सड़क के साइड में सुसु कर रहे हो ना तो क्या तुमने ये चौड़ में आ गए कि हमारा ये जस्ट बिकॉज हमारा बोलने का तो पहले पाकिस्तान भी हमारा था तो यू शुड बी प्राउड ऑफ वहां वाले लोगों ने भी जो पहले किया है. मतलब I don't get, but I think ये कुछ ज़्यादा radical ideas हैं लोगों के लिए.
Yeah. You feel that anyone who reads a lot or thinks too deeply will tend to move away from mainstream and what works quite easily. Even within stand-up, you see, is the simplest and the easiest thing that will travel more, that will sell more. So often when an artist goes on a personal journey through his art, it takes him away from where the market is going. Because you can practice this purely for fun and just try to sell things and it will sell. अभी आपके पास इतना सारा डेटा भी आता है कौन देख रहा है कहाँ देख रहा है मेल फीमेल एज ग्रुप और कुछ कॉमिक्स वो भी करते हैं. They almost design their content to work in a particular crowd. But the moment you drift away from that and you do it at a personal level, like maybe what you are trying to pursue, it will be more and more difficult for you to meet the market. In terms of popularity.
But I mean that's assuming that the market knows what's best for it, right? I mean sometimes again my journey is sort of I don't want my journey to be affected by external parameters, which is why I don't look at any metrics. मैं थोड़ा extreme हूँ सेंस में मैं अपना कोई YouTube analytics नहीं खोला 3 साल से खोला ही नहीं. I'm not even kidding. मैं अपने Instagram के follower भी नहीं देखता हूँ गलती से दिख जाते हैं अगर मैं कुछ करता हूँ because I don't need that external shit to sort of I want to figure out who I am, right? And that's more of a personal journey than a professional journey. And be at peace with myself. And when I do that, I will form some sort of a voice. अब वो voice market को पसंद आए कि नहीं आए वो market पे है वो मेरे हाथ में नहीं.
So you totally tune that part out, like the matrix and all.
हाँ, and I mean if you become good enough, think इसमें वो भी तो art है ना. How do you write something that caters to everybody? That's also not easy.
Sure. Yeah.
तो that's also part of your skill कि ठीक है तुम अपना जितना लेयर लोअर थॉट वगैरह लगाने लगाओ बट कैन यू नाउ लाइक फॉर एग्जांपल लुई सी के अगर कुछ बात करता है इट्स प्रोफाउंड इन हिज स्टैंड अप नॉट इन हिज masturbatory sessions but and it's also extremely simple. Everybody in America and in India can get it because that's the extent of his skill कि उसने सिंपल शब्दों में कुछ बहुत अच्छी चीज बोली जो तू भी समझता है एक यूएस का बंदा भी समझता है और एक युगांडा का बंदा भी समझता है. तो फिर हम लोग समटाइम्स वी आर थिंक ऑफ आवरसेल्व्स कि मेरे थॉट इतने अच्छे इनको समझ नहीं आए बट क्यों तो फिर क्या पॉइंट है अगर ऑडियंस में समझ नहीं आ रहा तो तेरा क्या है अपने घर पे बैठ के सुना. तो इट्स अ सॉर्ट ऑफ अ फाइन बैलेंस that you have to achieve.
But the thing is worth attempting that even the most profound thought ought to be understandable at least by the people at the lowest levels of society.
हाँ कि तू profound thought तूने एक intellectual को समझा दिया आसान है एक profound thought तू किसी और को कैसे समझाएगा. तो that is also that takes a skill further, right? कि मैं अब इस चीज को ऐसे कैसे बताऊं कि हर कोई समझ जाए.
Vipul tells me that कि his metric is कि यार जोक ऑटो वाला भी सुन के हंसना चाहिए. Not all jokes pass that test, but that is there in his mind कि ये जितना broad हो उतना लोगों को समझ. Otherwise he won't do it only.
वो एक थोड़ा अलग पर्सपेक्टिव है गेस करने का उनका. That's a more मेरा ऐसा नहीं है क्योंकि the thing is मेरी तो जिंदगी भी as an army kid इतने बबल में रही है. I think a lot of India won't relate to my life experiences. तो मैं कैसे एक अगर मुझे ऑटो वाले के लिए जोक लिखना पड़े वो ऑथेंटिक जोक नहीं होगा. क्योंकि फिर मैं देखूंगा कि अच्छा इसका क्या है वो क्या, मैं लिख दूंगा, बट वो ऑथेंटिक नहीं है ना, निशांत सूरी का वॉइस नहीं आ रहा है उसमें शायद। तो हाँ, मतलब it's not like any of us know the answers to these questions for sure.
Just our opinion.
But that's something I'm still figuring out. पहले मुझे लगता था कि ठीक है भैया, मेरा अगर मैं, क्योंकि मैं लाइफ के बारे में सोचता हूँ, पढ़ता हूँ, अगर मैं वैसी से बात कर रहा हूँ तो हूँ मैं ऐसे, नहीं समझ आती जिन लोग, बट अब मुझे लगता है कि वो भी तो स्किल है ना, कि तू अपने जो 40 लोग तो तूने अपने अंग्रेजी पढ़े वालों को सुना दिया, but how do you communicate to the rest though? That's also, I have to be good enough to be able to do that. I don't have to be good enough कि मेरा मटेरियल सबको समझ आए, क्योंकि फिर तो मतलब फिर तुम थोड़े मासी भी हो गए, आई गेस।
There will be transmission loss.
मुझे ये करना है कि मैं जो मैं कहना चाहता हूँ वो मैं कहूँ, but I can, if I can still try and make it a little, so I can appeal to more people, good. It also depends on what you want. अगर तुम्हारा मुझे पैसे कमाने बहुत सारे वो करना है, फिर तुम्हें करना पड़ेगा cater. अगर वो नहीं है तुम्हारा perspective.
You think if you are intensely personal in what you're saying on stage, but you're completely truthful, then would it still work despite it not being relatable, just because it comes from a place of absolute truth? It ought to, right?
I sort of agree with that. हाँ, मुझे लगता है कि if you're because the people I relate to or I like, not just in comedy, in other spaces also, are people who are honest. जो मेरे को दिख रहा है कि सच्चाई है, कि अगर for example the Ramdas, the guy I follow, a lot of his life was about, he was on the spiritual journey, so he was very honest about it, what the pitfalls are, where I fell down, what I am doing. So that honesty is always likable, right?
Yeah.
So तो मुझे इस पर्सपेक्टिव से लगता है कि मुझे अगर ऑनेस्ट लोग पसंद आ रहे हैं तो शायद ऑडियंस को भी वो ऑनेस्टी ज़्यादा अप्रिशिएट करेंगे लोग.
Because you see, the weirdest talent in your characters also people like, not because they recognize or relate with them, maybe somewhere they can agree that this can also happen, even though I'm not that person, the weird person I'm seeing on screen, you still like him for some reason. Maybe it is that it comes from some true place, some honest place maybe.
Yeah, I mean, मानिक से कभी बात हो रही थी about relatability and this and that, और तू मानिक का सेट देखेगा, it's absurd, it doesn't need to be relatable, because whatever उसने honest भी नहीं है, वो तो मतलब मनगढ़ंत है जो भी है उसका, but it doesn't always need to be relatable is what I'm saying. You have another way of doing it where people can still appreciate and understand what you're doing, that also works.
When you say spiritual, like what is the idea in your mind? That is a very abused word, and a lot of people use it very, very loosely. So for you personally, what has it been, like the journey, or what does it mean for you?
There are two ways of looking at it. One is the religious spirituality, and there is also sort of a non-religious spirituality. Non-religious spirituality is, the basic thing is that it goes into the inquiry of who am I, right? And then when you start questioning that, am I this body? I'm not, right? Because I can experience this body, I can see this body. That means I'm something behind the body, right? Am I my thoughts? I'm not my thoughts, because I can look at my thoughts, right? My thoughts are external to me, so I am something behind my thoughts. And the idea is that you are an awareness, basically, right? It's not a form, right? I am not a form, I'm formless. Because I'm not the body, I'm not my thought, what am I? I'm just an awareness behind it. So you can, like an animal, right, is pure awareness, because an animal is not thinking, right? It's not, it just is in a place and it's reacting to the place.
It's not analyzing.
It's not analyzing, not thinking. Evolution and genetics have given it certain thought patterns or whatever, कि शेर को पता है कि उसको खाना है और वो खाना है, but it's not thinking. It's like if अगर जानवर का पैर टूट गया तो it is suffering, but it's just suffering. It's not thinking about कि हाय यार पैर टूट गया मेरा, मेरे साथ ही क्यों होता है, उसके तो 5 पैर है मेरे 3 क्यों, right? So you are an awareness behind all of this thinking, and you have to learn to sort of, the mind is a bad master and a great servant. But right now the mind is our master, क्योंकि जो भी thoughts आता है we react to those thoughts ना. But if you can sort of tame the mind and become the master of the mind, कि जब मैं चाहूँ तब सोचूं. Otherwise there's always a voice. You're always thinking. There's always an inner voice ना कि अब क्या करना है, वो क्या करना है. So there was a great line that this guy had said, which is, when you're always thinking, you're always one thought away from reality. You're not experiencing reality as it is. You are the reality is going through the filter of
Thought.
your analytic mind and then reaching you.
Yeah.
So there is always distortion in the reality. So spirituality is basically, the non-religious part is being in a place of awareness. Right? What do I mean by awareness? If you close your eyes and you think कि 1 minute तक मैं कुछ नहीं सोचूंगा, but you realize after 10 seconds कि thoughts आ गए, and then when you're meditating, you watch those thoughts go away and then you settle back down. So that settling back down, centering, is going back into that place of awareness. The religious spirituality is basically they say कि we are all one consciousness. We are all one, right? And an analogy of that is that like electricity goes into different appliances. So that's sort of what consciousness is, that we are the different appliances, and that consciousness is, you know, whatever that is. Yeah. So that sort of.
Okay, so at a personal level you practice maybe through meditation or other techniques, but when you say religion, it becomes a social thing then? Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean the religious part, man, there's an aspect of the divine. Right? What is that? The divinity is in the, they say it's that one energy or one consciousness. That there is no God. That there is just God, you, this chair, everything is just one consciousness. We are the universe experiences. I am God talking to God. That is what they say. It's just, it's consciousness hallucinating, which is also what our scriptures say. That this is not real, it's an illusion. It's Maya.
Yeah.
So that is what they say. So that goes into the more, you know, that's
more
supernatural.
Supernatural.
It's not supernatural, but whatever it is, it's for you to explore. Right, and a lot of it seems, for people who are new to it, it seems like a supernatural kya bakwas hai. So you don't need to even go into that part. There's a non-religious, if anyone's interested, an excellent book is called The Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle, T-O-L-L-E. That's brilliant. Everybody should read it because it's really helpful. You know, हम लोग के life में इतना fuck है because there's constant thoughts and self-critical, analysis and all of that. And you learn that there's a place of stability behind that. You are not your thoughts is the most important thing I've learned.
And that place is always there. Just
it's always there. That place is watching. It's watching happiness. It's watching pain. अगर मेरे यहाँ दर्द हो रहा है, तो practice Buddhists, people who've been practicing meditating for 20-30 years. I was watching this guy. When he goes to the dentist, he doesn't even take an injection of Novocaine or whatever. It's extremely painful, but you can watch the pain rather than react. Pain is a stimulus, right? It's an extremely strong stimulus.
Yeah.
This is a stimulus, this is a stimulus. So you can just watch this and this also from. जैसे आपने देखा होगा जो Tibet में monks that have burned themselves, right? There's a very famous photo of this guy standing like this, sitting like this, and he's on fire and he's calm. He's reached a place where he's able to just be that center and watch all that chaos around him. So that's the extent to which meditation has. That, of course, that's the amount of effort that it takes to reach that place. You can see the path that goes to.
So, a lot of people get into the semantics of it. Like when you say spiritual, they will say इसमें energy, उसमें energy, ये beat पहन लो, वो beat पहन लो, and then it just becomes like a very hodgepodge religion again by itself.
Yeah.
But what you are talking about is intensely, deeply personal in a way.
Yeah.
And yet, at the end of the journey, you realize that nothing is personal also. Isn't that's a bit of a mind over matter thing, but.
हाँ, तो वो मतलब again when you go into spirituality, they talk about how this concept of I, that's not real because I is a concept in your head, right? Me, what am I? That's your ego that they say.
Yeah.
And all of that is a story and a concept in your head. That may or may not be real, right? That's what, because in the past as a child I had self-esteem issues and that continued. Okay. And if I think about it, what is self-esteem? Self-esteem is your perception about yourself, कि मैं कैसा आदमी हूँ, right? That's an opinion you have about yourself, and just like any opinion you hold, it may or may not be true. But we are led to believe कि जो मैं सोच रहा हूँ अपने बारे ये तो सच ही है ना कि यहाँ मैं तो, because you pick up data points and you pick those data points to fit your story.
Yeah.
And you form that opinion. Question क्या था तेरा? बात करते करते भूल ही गया स्टार्ट कहाँ से हुआ था?
He is living in the now right now.
On my way to dementia. On my way to dementia. But it is a very personal experience.
But then I was saying, so the question was that it is very personal because you are going totally into yourself in a way. But yet at the end of the journey, you ought to discover that there is no self.
हाँ, Yeah, that's the idea. There is no the concept of self is it's something we create, because for an animal there is no I.
Yeah.
There is no I. There is no self. Right? There is whatever this soul you can call it, whatever this awareness is, and we don't know what consciousness is till now.
Yeah.
We don't know it. Because it's so strange to think of it that कुछ atoms जब combine करते हैं कुर्सी बनाते हैं, बाकी atoms जब combine करते हैं पुनीत पानिया बनाते हैं. Essentially, that's what, if you are absolutely scientific and you don't believe there's anything divine or whatever, you're saying कि दो atom ने मिलके joke बनाया है. तूने नहीं बनाया, तू तो atom है ना. So that we still don't know what consciousness is.
It's perplexing. So people who go past the general belief systems of a personal God or a higher power, and they're aware of like a lot of other concepts like the ones in Buddhism or in science in general, then you have to live with this dilemma, what we just spoke of. That I can explain everything physically and yet I can't explain what I am feeling completely.
Yeah.
And you have to live with that if you're not into any kind of belief system. Isn't that's difficult?
You have to live with the mystery of it. But you also have to understand that it's a mystery, right? Sometimes with science we are like, जो science ने समझा दिया वो है, जो नहीं समझाया वो नहीं है. But because it's also, they say a torch can only show you what's in front of it, but a torch can never look behind it. Or a smaller part of a computer program never knows what the bigger part is, right? That's what they say about consciousness also, that a consciousness can't really, it's a mystery because you can't shine yourself. An awareness is like light, right? कि अभी इधर देखा, इधर awareness, this is now in my, right? इधर सुना, this is now in my. So you can't look behind what consciousness is. Because so you have to, living in the mystery वाली भी बात है थोड़ी, that just give up that, हमें लगता है कि हमें जो चीज समझ नहीं आ रही, but हम इतने ये हैं पूरी in the whole existence of things है. So you're not that important, तुम्हारा intellect बहुत छोटा है to understand everything. And once I think you can get into that place, life becomes a little easier, where you just feel like, pata nahi, I don't know.
So nice to see a Delhi guy saying that.
I take offense at being called a Delhi guy. Yeah.
But do you think once the I goes away, or it cannot really go away completely maybe, but if it starts becoming weaker, then even stand-up might be difficult. A lot of this is just fucking ego that project, na?
Yeah, spiritual path and stand-up path are yeah, but that's where the excitement in doing and living lies, right? Living life, trying to figure out. अगर सब कुछ आसान हो जाए और तुम्हें सब पता लग जाए, if the mystery of life is solved, what are we? तो फिर so the excitement is, I think, living in the mystery and living in not knowing, trying to figure out things. But you're right, they are sort of contrasting. इधर मुझे
if along the way
opinion बोलना है, if I have to rant, I don't hate. जैसे पहले मेरा था कि fuck this driver, why is the fuck? So spirituality is about, giving up anger, trying to
acceptance also.
Acceptance, because you don't control your personality.
Yeah.
You didn't choose your personality, I didn't choose mine.
Yeah.
Just that enables me to be compassionate with you. If you're behaving like an asshole, you're behaving like an asshole because your neural patterns have been formed in such a way. You don't have even, that's what compassion is, right?
Yeah.
Understanding that we are all stuck in this fuck all situation. You don't judge a tree कि ये क्यों लंबा मोटा हो गया, because you're like हाँ ये हो गया, right? That's what people also are.
Yeah. फिर तो rant
तो मुश्किल हो जाता है.
Lot of sets are difficult because if once your awareness keeps expanding, and when I say awareness, I also mean that awareness beyond just your trouble and my trouble, but other people's troubles or even other life forms, what we are subjecting them to in this world right now. A lot of times my patience for fiction is almost run out completely for fiction, like stories, because I feel like इतना story सुना के बना के भी हम क्या ही उखाड़ रहे हैं. We're still all assholes at the collective level, and even after all these stories, the planet is still suffering. That story is always going downhill. The way you treat the planet and the creatures on it. So what is the point of all the drama that we? This is entertainment. जो आप देखते हो Netflix पे या फिल्मों में या आपने बुक किताबें पढ़ ली.
हाँ, it's just passing time so that we don't have to confront our loneliness and our. It's just. Which is all of life, no? It's just passing time.
So does that mean that the more your empathy expands, the lesser stand-up you'll be able to do?
But no, then you'll find a different perspective to stand up, no? एक और नजरिया आ जाएगा करने का.
Yeah.
हाँ, मतलब change is not bad. You find another way of looking at life, and that feels more authentic to you. मतलब it's very organic also ना कि 4 साल पहले मैं ऐसा था, अब मेरा वर्ल्ड व्यू चेंज है तो मैं उस वर्ल्ड व्यू के हिसाब से बातें करूँगा. बट ये है मतलब ये थोड़ा डिलेमा तो जो मैं भी बिकॉज आई एम सो न्यू ऑन दिस जर्नी ऑफ व्हाटएवर दिस स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड ऑल दैट, थोड़ा फिगर आउट करने वाली बात है कि अब नहीं अंदर से जेन्युइनली गुस्सा नहीं आ रहा तो रैंट नहीं चलेगा.
And you can only be Hannah Gatsby once in your career. Second time, you won't get a pass.
But no comment. Some people like our.
Yeah. I loved it, the first special. But
I really liked it. Yeah. I just felt like more like a theatrical piece to me than stand-up. But then that's the beauty of art. There's no definition of stand-up. You are free to interpret it your own.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Umar away.
You said you like hanging out with comics and like all of us do, but really speaking, comics are not nice people, are they?
Brother, आप मुंबई वाले सीन से हो ना? दिल्ली वाले बहुत अच्छे हैं.
अच्छा.
नहीं genuinely मतलब और फिर दिल्ली मेरे लिए थोड़ा होम बेस है ना, यहीं से तो शुरू किया था. But I actually at मुंबई में इतना कल्चर नहीं है. I think hang out करने का सब इतने हसल में बिजी हैं, 2-3 माइक्स कर रहे हैं तो चले जाते हैं अपना करके.
वो भी है.
और also because मुंबई में मैं I was a new entrant जब मैं 3 साल पहले मूव करा. It takes time to sort of maybe form a group or whatever. But Delhi में definitely थोड़ा ये chilling वाला scene better है. हाँ. And शायद क्योंकि मैं दिल से थोड़ा दिल्ली वाला टाइप या नॉर्थ टाइप हूँ तो I relate to the people here more. हाँ. But I enjoy hanging out with comics here.
हाँ, मुंबई में वो there's always scarcity. Time of late हो रहा है.
Good humans and funny comics. मुंबई में scarcity है.
We have lost.
But तेरे को क्यों लगता है ऐसा मतलब what is your view on this? Why do you think all of the lately जो भी funny वाले निकल रहे हैं ज़्यादातर सब दिल्ली से ज़्यादा क्यों? Mumbai, Bangalore.
Overall, I think Delhi is surpassed as a market because it's also bigger. NCR is bigger than Mumbai in population, in GDP also. Ultimately, the answer.
So comedy का क्या relation है?
Bigger cities will produce more art. Especially this is a very
bigger. Mumbai has more people than Delhi, I would assume.
नहीं, NCR ज़्यादा है अभी. Even GDP they have surpassed. Because Mumbai is like we are landlocked. No, I mean it's an island. Sorry, not landlocked, but it's an island. We can expand. Delhi keeps expanding. There are more venues now here. I see more audiences coming in.
But वो अभी है. More venues and all of that. Mumbai has always had more.
Yeah. Last few years, so they've taken over. I think even culturally.
All of this is just beating around the bush. Main point is हम लोग ज़्यादा funny हैं. I think दिल्ली नॉर्थ वाली बात भी है ना, एक तो personalities bigger है यहाँ से, louder, bigger. I think that sells more obviously.
It does, yeah. I think just the जो लहजा बात करने का वही ज़्यादा funny है, वो भी एक है.
Also because मुंबई में comedy canvas से start हुआ, right? So there was always a precedent कि ऐसे और वहाँ English से होता था, तो तुम मतलब there was a lot of set up punchline, ये comic कैसे वो comic कैसे. दिल्ली में it was very uninhibited. Everybody found मतलब मैं 2-3 साल अगर मैं सोचूं मैं शुरू में क्या करता था, I'm like they stand up क्योंकि देखा नहीं था, कुछ नहीं पता. That helped sort of सबने अपना शायद निकाला. That is my hypothesis.
जनरल लोग भी काफी मुझे तो फनी लगते हैं यहाँ पे भी.
हाँ है ही. मुंबई के बाद लगेंगे.
I think even culturally overall Mumbai is falling behind. Like not just stand up. If you see movies also at one point all movies used to be based in Mumbai. कैरेक्टर जो भी कर रहा है स्ट्रगल वो मुंबई में हो रही है. अभी आप देख रहे हो बाकी शहर भी दिखते हैं, दिल्ली काफी दिखता है. म्यूजिक का सीन नॉर्थ इज टेकन ओवर कंप्लीटली.
बिकॉज आल्सो नंबर्स नॉर्थ के ज्यादा है ना, हिंदी जो मास है वो तो है यहीं से,
वो भी है. या तो
दे फाइंड इट इजियर टू रिलेट टू अ नॉर्थ पर्सन देन someone from Maharashtra.
I think pandemic is not being great for Mumbai especially because I'm a big part of Mumbai scene, not only as a comic but also we organize shows there. And we lost all of our venues. We had 12 venues, they're all gone. Delhi, I still see the old venues still surviving somehow. Maybe the deeper pockets or the rent is lower.
But that's actually a problem Delhi has had for a long time. कि हमारा बहुत बार हुआ है कि venues बंद हो गए हुए. अब Delhi का scene is the best in the country because we are dedicated 3-4 comedy clubs. Yeah. Suck it Mumbai. But उससे पहले
I had to agree. I can't.
हाँ उससे पहले बहुत ups and downs यहाँ पे होते रहे यार.
I've seen open mic also here and there people I've never seen before they're performing and it might be just the same routine कि बस बंदी चली गई वगैरह, लेकिन he's putting in effort, he's come prepared. You can see that he has a set, he has come prepared at home, ये लाइन ऐसा बोलना, ये लाइन ऐसा बोलना है. बम्बई में लोग ऐसे आ जाते हैं, मैंने these are my thoughts. तो फिर मत बोलना, घर पे बैठना तू. मैंने अभी देखा रिक्शा में आते हुए. Don't say it, go home. वो पढ़ के सुना.
वो तो हमारा डिफेंस मैकेनिज्म है ना. इससे पहले ऑडियंस हमें रिजेक्ट करे, हम अपने आप रिजेक्ट कर देते हैं. अरे नहीं, अभी लिख के आए हैं सब.
And Bangalore somehow I felt always very mild mannered. Audience also and comics also. In open mic.
ये ना ये मुंबई बैंगलोर का ना ये थोड़ा प्योरिस्ट वाला ज्यादा फक कर गया है इनको. मैं आज भी देखता हूँ, you know, people who've done nothing worthwhile in comics from these places. Nothing worthwhile, never said anything funny, throwing shade left, right and center कि ओ देखा कपिल ने क्या बोला, देखा इसने. अरे तुम्हारी मतलब ये मेरे को बहुत लगता है. तुमने खुद लाइफ में कुछ नहीं अचीव किया है. पत्थर मारने के लिए कपिल शर्मा में भाई उस बंदे ने कॉमेडी सीन स्टार्ट किया है, ठीक है. उसका शो में भी तुम्हें रिग्रेसिव लगता हो जो भी हो, बट I find him extremely funny and he was responsible for starting all of this. मैंने कौन funny क्या ये अपने घरों में बैठ के इतना रोते रहते हैं इंटरनेट पे. कोई कॉमिक्सतान को गाली दे रहा है, कोई OML को गाली दे रहा है. तुम्हें कौन रोक रहा है? तुम YouTube पे डालो अपना वीडियो, अपनी ऑडियंस बनाओ ना. घर पे बैठ के रोना इतना पसंद है ना कॉमिक लोग को. I wish मैं नाम ले सकता है नहीं.
नाम ले सकते
नहीं, मैं नहीं लेना. I just feel like अभी मैंने अनफॉलो किया 3 दिन पहले किसी को, क्योंकि वो बस्सी ने का जो इंटरव्यू लिया था कपिल का, राइट. उस पे कपिल शर्मा ने बोला कि बस्सी ने उससे पूछा कि आपको पता था ये सेटअप पंच लाइन प्रेमिस है. कपिल शर्मा ने नहीं यार मैं तो स्टैंड अप करता भी नहीं, हमारा तो ये था कि फनी होने जाना है, वो जाना. तो उस पे वो गलिया रहा है कि बस्सी एंड कपिल शर्मा डिस्कसिंग दैट हाउ पंच लाइन्स आर नॉट इम्पोर्टेंट, टेल यू द स्टेट ऑफ इंडियन कॉमेडी. ये जो एक्सटर्नलाइज कर देते हैं ना अपनी लाइफ में प्रॉब्लम कि मेरे शो में लोग नहीं आ रहे हैं क्योंकि बस्सी एंड कपिल शर्मा ने ऐसा बोल दिया, चांटे मारने के मन करते.
Where does it come from?
You see my compassion. मैं कह रहा था ना कि I love everybody. That's the struggle.
कुछ साल तक तो है इनके पास मटेरियल. But where does it come from? Is it what you said and maybe canvas? Is it like people are watching too much foreign ka stand up?
Where does what come from?
That purist sort of, I don't know what to call it. Approach.
It comes from insecurity. You're finding a reason to comfort yourself कि वो क्यों चला और मैं क्यों नहीं कर रहा. That's where it stems from. Because this process has been democratized, that you don't need a Netflix or a Prime or a TV to make a name for yourself. That's enough reason to stop whining कि उसने ऐसा कर दिया, वो इतना कमर्शियल है. तू कर दे को जो करना है ना. 1.3 बिलियन के हमारा देश है, उसका 0.1% भी अगर तुझे देखता है तो बहुत बड़ा नंबर है. There are enough people. I also do it. Sometimes I get insecure and I'm like, hey, इसने तो ऐसा जोक मार दिया, ये तो low hanging thought. तो मेरे थोड़ी ना के कॉपी फाड़ रहा है वो कि ये कैसे लिख दिया तुमने. तू कर अपना करना. You find your own way to do your shit. Don't blame others. Lesson to मतलब reminder to myself also. It's very easy. These are human tendencies. ना you get insecure. यार उसका इतना. But
people say that the comics should have a blind spot, no? which makes him funnier. But I think self-aware comics are also very funny because
self-awareness. I think self-awareness ये चीजें तो काफी लोग lack भी करते हैं. और मुझे जैसा अंदर थोड़ा ओवर क्रिटिकल भी हो जाता है उस वजह से. As they say, right? वो क्या? Ignorance is bliss.
Yeah. Knowledge is power, but ignorance is bliss.
Too much knowledge is depressing also.
Yeah.
I would be so much happier if I was a dumb, low IQ person.
Maybe you'll be dying by now also.
भगवान बैठे हैं ऊपर चार.
You might have a child also by now. In the alternate universe.
हाँ, I don't know.
But you ever see yourself as living anywhere else other than Delhi? Like that thought crosses your mind? पहाड़ों में चले जाएंगे या कहाँ?
I would love कि मैं गोवा में जाकर रह लूँ. That's my dream. But local scene नहीं है stand up का. Open mic कर नहीं सकते तो अभी तो नहीं है. But maybe in the future because
some comics are already they've done it already.
Some comics have done it. But अभी I am at that stage where I really want to work on writing new material. At least for a couple of years. Or longer. But minimum इतना तो मुझे है अभी इसमें जाना है. For now Delhi. But you never know. I mean. My father was in the army तो 3 साल 4 साल से ज़्यादा कहीं रहने की आदत नहीं.
You've been a lot of places.
बोर भी हो जाते हो. 10 ही होता है कि मूव करो. तो never know. Like मैं जब मुंबई गया था, I was like अब तो मुंबई में है, आ गए वापस. You never know what life throws at you. So there's no.
That Santa Claus flat, no? You were there for how long?
1.5 साल थे यार.
Okay.
Not say
really.
bye to that flat. मैं 4 चट्टे और 2 टी-शर्ट लेके आया था मार्च 17 को. कि अरे यार खत्म हो जाएगा. Couldn't go back to Mumbai after that. He said move and pack कर से. While we were in Delhi, we shifted the whole house.
कल मंडावा मिला था तो हम यही बात कर रहे थे कि यार for even if you have the best house in Delhi, they still say the air is so bad that it's like smoking a pack a day. So then is this still worth it even though you have built a great life for yourself? The very air you're breathing is shit. Then what is the whole point? I think health wise तो हम सोच ही नहीं रहे. यानी ठीक है हम carbs avoid कर रहे हैं. But other than that, overall, shouldn't health fucking come first? Everything else will melt away. But towards the end, unless your body is supporting you, your mind will not work.
But what can you do about it? मतलब obviously what you can is working out and all of that. It's in your hand. But ये हवा हुआ का क्या करूँ? And this is something that's been on my mind. I've been looking for a house in Delhi. और मुझे लगता है इतने पैसे जो ये मांग रहे हैं, मतलब इतने में अगर पहाड़ों में या तो रह लो, but वो नहीं कर सकता because अभी मेरा choice of profession and life is such that शहर में तो रहना ही है. Yeah, it's a difficult dilemma to be in कि इतने पैसे दे के I stay in a crowded place और जहाँ pollution है ये वो है, but क्या option है हमारे पास?
Because everything you spoke about, including awareness, is only possible when your base, which is the body, is at rest. If there's even the slightest discomfort in your body, all of this will go out of the window.
Correct. Yeah.
So
your whole consciousness is completely towards your pain.
Because the body will keep pulling it back down towards that. So after a while, you're still young relatively. We are still young relatively, but 40s, 50s, 60s, may feel then shouldn't that take precedent? I feel unless you plan to end it soon.
करो भाई, करो स्क्वाट करो यहाँ पे. थोड़ा मिलियन समन कराते हैं ना, कोई उससे फोटो खींचने आता है तो पहले उनसे 20 पुशअप कराता है वो.
हाँ.
तो हम भी शुरू करते हैं. महीने के जो 2 लोग आते हैं वो भी कहेंगे कि भाई हम गौरव कपूर तो ऐसे ही खिंचा लेता है, तो उसके बाद जाते हैं 20 पुशअप कराता है भाई वो लॉन्डो से. कह रहा है कि मेरी माँ 80 साल की उम्र में 20 पुशअप कर लेती है. तो मुझे बहुत बुरा लगा क्योंकि मेरे से तो नहीं होते 20 पुशअप.
Do you do anything for health otherwise, like besides meditation? That's great. But
yeah, तो
physically?
working out मेरा है कि I have a love-hate relationship with it. I've been trying 6-7 बार जिम ज्वाइन कर लिया. मुंबई में कर रहा था, फिर पैंडेमिक हो गया. फिर यहाँ पे घर पे शुरू करे थे वर्कआउट 3-4 महीने करा. फिर ब्रेक आ जाता है. I find it very difficult to start again. It's on my mind constantly कि I have to start. Because these are the two things after having tried therapy and medicines and all of that they have the maximum impact on your mental well-being. Like working out, doing high intensity exercises where your heart really pumps. That has an instant effect on mood. Instant effect. Like that's pretty much I think the only thing that has an instant effect on endorphins and all of that. तो पता तो है करना है पर मतलब I hate it. fucking hate working out. जो सांस चढ़ती है ना मेरी, I hate that feeling.
You're an army kid, wasn't there some sort of?
तो क्या करूँ मैं? तो army kid नहीं था यार.
स्कूल में होगा नहीं होता था आर्मी स्कूल में.
आर्मी नॉर्मल स्कूल है वही.
अच्छा
ये कराते हैं ना वो, ये कर करके बहुत लोग के डोले बने हैं ना. ड्वेन जॉनसन ने यही तो करा है दोस्तों. 4 साल खड़े हो गए ऐसे करता था. सबसे बड़ा फ्रॉड है हमारा फिजिकल एक्सरसाइज. है ही नहीं स्कूल में, फोकस ही नहीं है यार.
We had the biggest ground, one of the biggest grounds in Mumbai. जहाँ पे ground होते नहीं है, you wouldn't get anything. Like one lecture or we should call period back then, one period a week. उसमें भी कभी गया कभी नहीं गया. And you get 15 minutes because आगे पीछे लाइन लगाने में टाइम जाता है ना. 20 लोग लड़के नीचे उतरेंगे लाइन से, सीधे लाइन में खड़े रहो, हो गया 5 मिनट वहाँ चला गया. फिर वो बोलता है कि ये एक फुटबॉल है जो करना है करो, खुश हो जाओ. There is no time for rules. बच्चे ऐसे लाट मारे फुटबॉल को 15 मिनट तक जाएगा.
मतलब फिजिकल मेंट ये सब कुछ सिखाते नहीं है. तो 25 साल की 30 साल की उम्र में once you start getting fucked in your head and your body, you're like अरे यार ये भी करना पड़ेगा, वर्कआउट करना पड़ेगा, करूँगा. But yeah, it's a fight, it's a struggle.
Any other content format ever crosses your mind कि ये करना है?
यार सबसे बड़ा स्ट्रेस है मेरा ना. मेरे को अभी आजकल भी लग रहा है कि कुछ everyone after me मतलब management कुछ कर ले, कुछ बना ले.
So still forget like us, like comics and even management. Just yourself, when you see something, you say, do you think this can be captured or be expressed in a certain way? Because abhi it's become easier, no?
The only thing I feel like I would want to do something with is something related to food, right? Food is my one primary motive. The most important thing in my life is food. If I want to travel, I do it because I want to go to a new place and eat their food. That's genuinely a huge motivator for me.
Like the Amritsar show was just incidental. It got to eat there.
भाई तो ये भी तो देख जो मैंने खाने की फोटोज डाली हैं मेरे स्टोरीज में जितने व्यूज उन पे आए हैं आज तक नहीं आए राइट तो पीपल बिकॉज आई थिंक फूड इज समथिंग दैट एवरीबॉडी रिलेट्स टू राइट वो खाने का समोसे का फोटो तेरे को भी अच्छा लगेगा और किसी को भी मतलब जो रिक्शा चला रहा है जो अंबानी सबको समोसा पसंद है ना तो अक्रॉस सॉर्ट ऑफ सेंसिबिलिटीज पीपल लाइक एंड एनीवे तो मुझे फूड से रिलेटेड कुछ करना है आई जस्ट डोंट नो कि फूड ब्लॉगर्स इंडिया में इतने खराब हैं इतने खराब है भाई तो अमूल बटर देख के ऐसे खुश होते हैं कि पता नहीं कोहिनूर का हीरा मिल गया हो वेंडर के पास ही एंड दे ऑल हैव दैट सेम स्टाइल की मतलब यू नो व्हाट आई एम सेइंग आई डोंट वांट टू जस्ट बी हियर एंड डिस देम बट तो मुझे कुछ उससे रिलेटेड कभी पर मैं आलसी बहुत हूं तो पता नहीं
ये बटर तो इतना है नॉर्थ में इतना बड़ा डाल दो आदमी थर्मो का भी खा लेगा
हां एग्जैक्टली बटर में तो कुछ भी फ्राई कर ले अच्छा लगेगा बट हां खाने का मुझे आई वुड लव टू डू अ फूड एंड ट्रैवल शो बट आई एम सो अंडर कॉन्फिडेंट अपने एबिलिटीज मुझे लगता है मैं कर पाऊंगा नहीं कर पाऊंगा वो सेल्फ क्रिटिकल वॉइस जो मैं बोला ना इसको चुप कराना है
एक्चुअली अभी बिकॉज ऑफ द डेमोक्रेटाइजेशन ऑफ एवरीथिंग आई फील आपको बहुत ही का मीडियोक्रिटी एवरीवेयर लाइक फोटोग्राफी फॉर एग्जांपल नाउ दैट इट इज सो मच मोर एक्सेसिबल you see so many people who are photographers or claim to be one or have pages and a lot of it is just random shit but then that it comes with the territory so just like that even for the vlogs I think there's always a scope for a good one to stand out despite there being such a crowd of mediocre sometimes I feel mediocrity exists only for that purpose to point out what is good otherwise you wouldn't know what is great if there weren't so many mediocre people
I mean, there are different ways to success, right? One is कि quantity over quality also works, especially algorithm के time.
It does.
So people also don't need to put in a lot of effort into the quality because clearly quantity is working.
They'll come back to the same thing again. You're doing it for yourself. You are fucking food blogging, but
you have to make a product that you like and then hope that people also, like it.
Were you a fat kid? Growing up?
I was a chubby kid.
Chubby kid.
Fat, but my problem is that as soon as I gain weight, it comes on my face, and I hate it. मतलब genuine self-loathing हो जाती है मेरे को ना कि मेरे मुंह में मोटापा हो जाता है. I think that's the only thing that's keeping me in check, considering how much I love food. अगर वो नहीं होता तो मैं यहाँ 3 कुर्सियाँ लगा के ऐसे करके बैठा होता. शायद तेरा पॉडकास्ट इसलिए एकदम वायरल होता कि मुझे हार्ट अटैक आ जाता. मैं मर जाता. But no, I was a chubby kid. Never, so as I said, don't enjoy physical exercise till that. फिर मतलब धीरे धीरे realize कि करना ही पड़ेगा. So I'm on that journey. I know I will start working out. I'll start a gym. वो जो रोगन कहता रहता है, even though I don't like that man now, but you have to tame your inner bitch. Please don't, मेरे शब्द नहीं है उसके हैं, but I thought there is always that part of you जो like और सोना है नहीं करना, और मेरे में वो part is the main part ना.
It's a split animal baby.
हाँ कि नहीं करना काम, नहीं करनी मेहनत नहीं करनी मेरे को, वो है प्लेट ने.
Where does the love for food come from? Can you trace it back to something? It's always been that way.
Always loved it. Like बचपन में I would read a lot of Archie comics, and Jughead eats a lot of burgers, so that was always my main thing. इसलिए I love burgers. उस टाइम नहीं थी opportunities इतनी छोटे-छोटे शहरों में posting है वो किताब में देख के I would like वो.
तभी शायद even McDonald's might just have come to India.
हाँ दिल्ली में था McDonald's और Nerlas तो you look forward to summer vacation में हम इधर आते थे family के पास. That was our go-to thing.
I sometimes feel it's very vulgar the way we consume food. Like the best meals I've had have always been in a gurdwara maybe, because it's just it reduces that act of consuming food to its bare basics. कि आप जमीन पे बैठ के खा रहे हो, आप रोटी भी 2 हाथ से ले रहे हो उनसे. It's the simplest food. It always tastes great somehow, and it's also you're eating communally with strangers. So you eat communally in parties maybe and in marriages, but then you know everybody. And
you don't sit with a truck driver, especially in our class-driven society.
And you don't even know who's sitting beside you. And that it always has felt so humbling as an experience. Every time I get the chance, I go to one, and then immediately, maybe on the same day, the next meal I'm having is in a fine dine restaurant somewhere, and I feel like what a mess I made of this activity. Like it's just so pompous. I'm sitting like a fucking king. वो लेके आया है, उसको सजा के रखा है ऐसे, उस पे GST लग रहा है. And I feel that there is so much this pomp and show that is almost vulgar the way we consume food nowadays.
It's vulgar how we consume a lot of things, right? I mean, consumption-driven society तो है.
Yeah.
And fair also considering कि हमारे ancestors कितने लोग famines और भुखमरी में, और मतलब ये तो बहुत ही नया concept है ना.
So you're making up for
world is हाँ, अभी जब मिल गया है जो अंदर का early man को बना बनाया बर्गर मिल रहा है, उसको जाके शेर से लड़के रेंडियर को अपनी काटना पड़ रहा है. तो हमारे अंदर जेनेटिक्स तो वही पुराने कैरी ऑन हो रहे हैं.
It is over compensation in that.
Of course it is vulgar, but ठीक भी है यार. घटिया जिंदगी. I had to go through a lot of cuss words before I zeroed down on घटिया. तो थोड़ा बहुत pleasure derivation तो बनता है.
हाँ.
But again, हाँ मतलब you have to be थोड़ा aware of the fact जब तुम इतना उसमें घुस जाते हो कि there is so much of the world that doesn't have any of that. तो मतलब मुझे भी कभी कभार लगता है यार कि इतनी comfortable life है और you see so much, और as Indians you are so desensitized to suffering around you.
Absolutely.
तो हाँ कभी कभार vulgar तो लगता है, लेकिन फिर लगता है कि यार sushi tasty तो है तो खा भी लेंगे.
Although that argument, like I mean, it's emotionally it works, you know, that कि वहाँ पे लोग बच्चे भूखे मर रहे हैं, आप यहाँ पे खा रहे हो. It doesn't work that way. You don't stop eating and then the kid won't get like food in Africa, obviously. Maybe just a way to ground yourself. I don't know.
हाँ, to ground yourself.
Yeah.
Not get too much into कि यार मेरे पास तो पैसा आ गया, मेरी तो जिंदगी बन गई. क्योंकि तुम lucky हो यार. तुम्हारे circumstances lucky है, तुम lucky हो. Life could have played out in any other way as well.
Yeah. Have you traveled most of the country now?
India?
Yeah.
Yeah, travel तो मतलब उस टाइम जब छोटा था तो obviously, but I don't like North East. मेरा अभी मैं घूमने के लिए ज़्यादा नहीं गया हूँ. Even though I stayed there बचपन में, असम वगैरह में.
अच्छा,
I stayed everywhere. Yeah, I was born in Kashmir. I stayed in Rajasthan. I stayed in Hyderabad, Chennai.
And you have memories of those places, like specifically?
I have a lot of memories, and what's interesting is I have a lot of my memories are related to food, right? Like हम लद्दाख में थे 2 साल ले में. I was in first standard, and I still remember कि वापस आते हुए हम कहाँ रुक के Swiss roll खाते थे बेकरी से और समोसा खाते थे. That's how important my food is to me. कि तेरे क्वेश्चन का आंसर देते थे मैं भूल गया कि क्वेश्चन क्या है. मेरे को आज भी याद है कि मैं समोसा कहाँ से खाता था. So I have a lot of pleasant memories, obviously, from these places.
Yeah.
पर घूमने के हिसाब से थोड़ा नॉर्थ ईस्ट मेरा बाकी है. That some place I want to really go and explore sometime. Maybe तो मेरा ये थोड़ा इंटेंशन है कि मैं अपने स्टैंड अप के साथ ऐसा करूँ. Because as I said, when I was doing that tour, I was not happy. So I have to figure out how am I happy. So I want to do this कि maybe I नॉर्थ ईस्ट में टूर डाल दिया, ड्राइव करके अलग अलग सिटीज में कर लिया. Still figuring that shit out.
That's what I do. The weekend shows and weekdays are free. Rather than going back home for 3-4 days, I go somewhere in the middle and then go to the next. It becomes tiring, but then I feel when else will I go to Coorg separately?
Exactly. Life is giving you an opportunity. जाओ थोड़ा देखो.
So it works economically also, and a lot of times you do feel like we discussed earlier, lonely or you're just tired sometimes. A lot of it is just mental tiredness, not even physical tiredness. But every time I push myself out of the door, it has been rewarding eventually. But life is always out there. Once you go out, things happen. But sitting at home, you'll just keep thinking and overthinking, and you'll end up fucking getting depressed.
हाँ, मतलब हाँ, it's very draining to sit at home. Especially हम लोग में, क्योंकि कोई काम नहीं है हमें. Literally कोई काम नहीं है. वो तो sad भी उस टाइम जब नौकरी छोड़ी थी तब तो था फ्रीडम. लगता है कि यार कुछ हो जाए कुछ दिन में 3-4 घंटे. तो इसलिए मैं अभी I'm looking to, अभी तो मैं फैमिली साथ रह रहा हूँ 1 साल से 1.5 साल से. But I want to shift out because फिर जबरदस्ती का काम करना पड़ता है ना. घर से बाहर निकलना पड़ता है. बड़ा इंस्टामार्ट करके वो भी नहीं निकलना पड़ता है ना कि तुम चॉकलेट खरीद. Which is, it's a huge problem with all of this delivery wala thing, na? It's convenience, but
all of it is
going out of your house.
All of
restaurants नहीं जा रहे, तुम नए experiences नहीं ले रहे. It's a problem.
And then the metaverse will come. We're discussing with Devesh also.
ये सब मैं तो घुस ही नहीं रहा हूँ. Bitcoin में ऐसी जिंदगी समझ नहीं आ रही है. Metaverse कहाँ से समझूँ? ये वाला वर्स तो समझ नहीं आ रहा. Metaverse और clearly I get it. I'm going to be that uncle who has no idea कि बेटा NFT क्या होता है? ऐसा समझने वाला हूँ मैं.
Because it is happening. You know it will happen because efficiency is there, economics is there. So whether you like it or not, things will get more and more virtual. More and more things will be tube fed to you, so that you don't have to move at all.
Yeah, but there will still be place for live experiences.
I hope
there will be. There will be.
It might be a shrinking space.
People still want to go out and have a good time, right? And thankfully for us, India में ज़्यादा options नहीं है if you want to go out and have a good time. तुम दारू पी सकते हो, खाना खा सकते हो, पिक्चर देख सकते हो. पार्क, पूल, ये सब जू वो हमारी कंट्री ने तो ध्यान दिया नहीं है कि इनको ये सब नहीं चाहिए.
बाकी ये में डंडा पड़ जाता है तो आप कुछ भी नहीं कर सकते बाहर ज्यादा.
तो मुझे लग रहा है लाइव के लिए अपना प्लेस रहे, क्योंकि जूम वूम भी करा ना हमने, बट जैसी जिंदगी खुली पीपल को लाइक बाहर जाना है यार. There's still that, thankfully there's still that urge कि नहीं करना है जूम पे यार, भाड़ में जाओ.
Because things only happen through interaction, like socially at least. With the mask on and with the current state of things, I think it's killing a lot of our humanity also. Because things only happen when people come together, from business to ideas to art, and that is all not happening for the past 2 years. In a way, I feel we are also a very subdued population now. क्या नहीं हुआ last 2 साल में, apart from say the protests and everything politically, a lot of people have suffered immensely at the personal level because they lost work and they lost purpose. And still you don't see any major anger or outrage or outpouring of emotion because people are subdued. You cover your entire face, you're not yourself.
But I like that. I love wearing a mask क्योंकि फिर तुम्हें बाहर निकलते हुए फटे कपड़े पहन के जाओ, तुम्हें देख ही नहीं रहा तुम्हारी शक्ल. ये प्रोटेक्शन मुझे बहुत सही लगती है. तो मुझे लगता है अरब लोगों का फंडा सही चलता है. वो anonymity बहुत सही है यार. मुझे बहुत अच्छा लगता है. I'm not conscious of क्या कर रहा हूँ मैं, कौन किसी पता ही नहीं कौन.
For sand and for patriarchy, but still.
क्या?
They did it for sand and for patriarchy, but still.
I don't support it. For that's the unfortunate part today कि तुम जो मैंने अभी बोला ये वाला, I was saying it just for the heck of it.
I know.
But then there's going to be someone who's going to but then you get used to it, I think.
You can't help it, वो तो कोई ना कोई.
But वो एक सेंसर तो आ गया ना हमारे दिमाग में.
Maybe it's for the better eventually because that sensor which comes from the left, maybe they don't always, they're not out to hurt you always, not always. But from the right, the sensor is like मारेंगे.
हाँ तो ये physically मारते हैं, वो emotionally मारते हैं ना, वो तुम्हारा whatever गलिया के तुम्हारे को तोड़. But हाँ अभी right वाला is much worse. I would rather have the left cancelling me than the right murdering me.
Yes.
Not that the right murders people. Hypothetical situation.
Again, hypothetical.
In USA की बात हो रही है, हम इंडिया में नहीं करते. कंबोडिया में बहुत खराब है राइट. इंडिया में सही है.
Go to Cambodia.
Go back to Cambodia.
You have a thing about traveling abroad. Like some people have a list of countries I want to go to. It's expensive, obviously, but yeah. There's a
Japan. As I said, खाने जाना है मेरे को. So I want to travel the world and eat. That everywhere. But first Japan. Because that place is insane for food, right? Especially for non-vegetarian. उधर जाके sushi खाना है, ramen खाना है. South America जाना है. South America तो इसलिए जाना है क्योंकि my friends who traveled a lot, they say that's sort of they enjoyed most in South America. Genuine people, खुले दिल के लोग, अच्छा culture और ये सब Latin America वगैरह. वो भी जाना है. पूरा जाना है. I have to बहुत घूमना है. When I was thinking about so money is not the main motivator for me, right?
Yeah.
But then I was thinking about कि अच्छा पैसा कमाना है, क्यों कमाना है, क्या रीजन है, तो यही है कि अपने शौक पूरे करने हैं. अपना एक वो कंफर्ट लेवल बेसिक आ जाए, फिर तुम जा सकते हो ना स्पिरिचुअलिटी एंड फिलोसफी. पर अगर तुम्हारे घर पे तुम फाइनेंशियली प्रॉब्लम है ये हो, तो दैट्स माय मेन मोटिवेटर फॉर अर्निंग मनी नाउ, दैट आई वांट इनफ कि मैं अपने शौक पूरे करूं. इतना भी नहीं चाहिए कि मेरे पास मर्सिडीज हो, ये पर इतना है कि अगर मेरे को बाहर जाके, जब मैं कॉमिक्सटान से पहले जब मेरे पास नहीं था पैसा, मैं बाहर की कंट्री में जाता था. आई नो सम पीपल लाइक तेरे पास पैसा नहीं था तो बाहर की कंट्री कैसे जाता था. मैं बैकपैकिंग में भी पैक करता था. तो इट वुड रियली हर्ट मी कि मैं कहीं जाऊं और मैं मेन्यू में देख के कि मैं खा नहीं पाया. इतना महंगा और मेरे को एकदम ऐसा इतना सैड छोटे बच्चे टाइप फील होता था. ये नहीं चाहिए, ये मेरे को बहुत आना है कि मेरे को जो खाना है मैं सारा खा सकूं. दैट्स माय मेन मोटिवेटर.
Some people I heard them say that they went out on this spree कि पूरी दुनिया देखनी है, but after a few countries I sort of seen it. They are different, but then it had diminishing returns.
Yeah, that's most of Europe though. सारी countries similar लगती हैं.
And maybe at the end you realize that you're not going somewhere you're running away from something. ये भी होता है for many people. They just keep moving because they don't want to sit down and confront what is happening inside. India is so huge. I still discover new places, and I have traveled a fucking lot because the job also involved traveling, and our stand-up also is traveling. And there are still places which I go for the first time. I'm amazed कि ये भी बाकी था देखने का.
भाई सही में मतलब the diversity that we have. मैं पहली बार उत्तराखंड मतलब नैनीताल तो बचपन में गया होता, but नैनीताल से आगे में गया था कसर देवी करके. मतलब my mind was blown at how beautiful it was. That whole it's very different from Himachal because हिमाचल में बड़े पहाड़ हैं, इधर sort of शायद hills हैं. अच्छा. तो you can see those अगर तुम थोड़ा सा ऊंचाई पे हो तो see those hills going far away. It's a different kind of beauty. But India में भी बहुत घूमने के लिए scope है.
Yeah. I went to Hampi recently. Hampi is a very common place, and for people in Bangalore they went there for picnics बचपन से. For them it's like it's Hampi. But you should go at least once because it's so different.
Yeah.
Than anywhere else in the country.
I love the historical part of it. Yeah. मैं तो photos पे tour पे गया था लोगों के साथ. Didn't see the other side. But हाँ, beautiful.
Do you go to museums and shit when you travel?
यार म्यूजियम में तो मेरे को इंटरेस्ट बहुत है.
हाँ.
पर मैं 2 घंटे खड़े नहीं रह सकता. म्यूजियम गैलरी अगर ये कोई मेथड बना देना कि ये ऐसे छोटी सी ट्रेन लगा दे और फिर मैं ऐसे फोटो देखते जाऊँ. ये ऐसे 3 घंटे खड़े रहो चूते की तरह उधर ये नहीं होता मेरे से. स्टैंड अप में बिठाते हैं ना हम लोगों को.
ये मेटावर्स में हो पाएगा.
हाँ मेटावर्स में हो पाएगा. करेक्ट. No, I'm really interested in history. History fascinates me, but museum वगैरह इतना मैं नहीं जाता.
I do go to quite a few wherever I can. I've seen most of them now in India, and in India museums are a sad state of affairs. So
बहुत बेकार.
Yeah.
गिन चुन के सारे सेम होते हैं. एक टूटी हुई टोकरी पड़ी होगी, एक टूटा हुआ ग्लास पड़ा हुआ वगैरह हड़प्पा में दारू पानी पीते थे इससे. एक वो आर्मर होगा ऐसा चेन वाला बड़ा सा.
Some are very good and big, but even the small ones always I find some local element always when you go to a museum. So some of the parts will be similar, like you said, हर जगह पे वही होता है because it follows that whole pattern, pre-history, history, modern history. But every city will have something specific about that area or that culture which even the locals may not be aware of because for them maybe it's just the current culture which they are aware of. So that gives me a kick to find out something new because then I can connect the dots with what I see outside.
Google भी तो कर सकता है ना तो
नहीं
कुछ पे आ जाएगा 10 facts about Chandrapur that you did not know. Number 1 would be Chandrapur exists. Chandrapur is a city जहाँ ये शो करके आया. इसने स्टोरी पे डाला I'm going to Chandrapur. That was the first time I ever heard of Chandrapur. Not saying Chandrapur that says anything about Chandrapur. It says a lot about me.
Even I did not know.
तो follow पुनीत पानिया अगर तुम्हें इंडिया की ज्योग्राफी के बारे में और जानना है.
यार लोग मुझे बहुत बोलते हैं तुम बनाओ यार ट्रैवलॉग बनाओ वीलॉग बनाओ इतना घूमो पर यार टाइम ही नहीं बचता है because I'm on to the next tour or the next experience and बहुत पड़ा है फोटोज क्योंकि इसको दिखाने के लिए सब आपने खींचे हुए कभी डाले ही नहीं कोई टाइम ही नहीं बचता है. Touring is a full time job. It may just look like a few shows on the weekend but to make those happen आप सब खुद ही कर रहे हो. And often what it comes down to is कि मैं बैठ के उसको edit करूँ कि I'll go out and see the next waterfall. The waterfall always wins.
Correct. Living the experience rather than capturing. मेरा भी है when I'm traveling I just want to be in the moment. मैं काम छोड़ देता हूँ घर वालों से बात नहीं करता मुझे कुछ नहीं चाहिए मुझे just वहाँ पे I just enjoy just existing.
Yeah, if you're completely there.
Yeah, just there. नहीं करना record नहीं करनी vlog. ये इसमें change with time obviously. But नहीं मन करता. नहीं करता कि जिंदगी जीने के मकसद से भी तो जी जा सकती है ना.
मुश्किल
मुश्किल है मतलब कंटेंट भी देखो बनाना जितना भी मैं बोलता हूँ कि स्टैंड अप ही करना है शायद मतलब अभी प्रेशर है मेरे पे कि कुछ बनाओ यार रीच के लिए बनाना पड़ेगा क्योंकि कितना ही स्टैंड अप डाल सकते हो. बट फिर मुझे लगता है कि यार इफ यू आर वेरी गुड बस ने 3 वीडियो डाला उसका करेगा ही इज एन एक्सेप्शन ऑफ कोर्स लक एंड सर्कमस्टेंसेस एवरीथिंग प्लेज अ पार्ट बट ही इज एक्सेप्शनली गुड आल्सो. बट फिर मुझे ये भी लगता है कि अगर maybe if I just focus on my art, I will that will come.
Yeah.
But it's a constant struggle, no? कुछ पता ही नहीं है. There's no set path.
Because even the few videos you put up on YouTube, they all done exceedingly well.
There's one did well, 2 didn't do that well.
They're all in millions, right? नहीं.
Millions is nothing, ना? Current numbers. There's only one that did well. और बाकी तो deservedly so also. Now I think about that material, it's not. What works online is very different from what works in a club. Online needs to be relatable, shareable. It needs to be shareable. needs to be relatable.
I don't see you going down that path. Although I know there's pressure, so you're thinking about it,
but like it won't be intentional कि मैं ऐसा कुछ लिखूंगा
हो गया तो ठीक
कि
हाँ कि चल
जैसे
जाए।
मेरे को एक नहीं बोलूंगा।
अरे बोलो, यहाँ तक आ गया अभी।
मेरे को किसी ने एक बार बोला था कि जब मैंने वीडियो नहीं निकाली थी, आई थिंक उससे पहले थोड़ा सा कॉन्फिडेंस आ गया था, तो बोला कि डॉक्टर्स पे लिखो ना तुम। डॉक्टर्स के ऊपर किसी ने लिखा है, वो व्हाट्सएप ग्रुप पे शेयर हुआ ना, तो ऐसे थोड़ी ना होता है यार। दिस इज नॉट हाउ स्टैंड अप वर्क्स। एंड I just found it very weird for him to say that, but yeah.
But ये हो रहा है, लोग कर रहे हैं और it is working also at least in the here and now. But it does happen. But whenever I hear that line of thought, no, it feels so depressing to me because it's like you're still doing a job. Yes.
Exactly. तुम क्या मतलब जब मेरा वो नहीं मजा नहीं आ रहा था कॉमेडी में वो, तो फिर मैं सोच रहा था कि क्या मजा कहाँ है इसमें, राइट? एंड द रियल हैप्पीनेस एंड जॉय कम्स व्हेन यू राइट समथिंग न्यू एंड इट वर्क्स. क्रिएटिंग समथिंग न्यू दैट डिडंट एग्जिस्ट इन द वर्ल्ड टिल अबाउट एन आवर बैक, जो तुमने अभी लिखा, उसमें मजा आता है ना कि ये हुआ ना, पहला जो पहली बार जब चलता है कितनी दिल से खुशी होती है, उसके बाद फिर तुम 1000 उसको फाइन ट्यून करके तुम कुछ कर लो, बट जब पहली बार कुछ चलता है दैट्स लाइक दिन सही हो जाता है मेरा. Whatever has happened in the day, but if that new thing works.
अब तो जोक को रील पे एडिट करना पड़ता है कि जब मैं बोलूंगा तब कैमरा ऐसा होगा, कैमरा तभी जोक लैंड करेगा, which is so sad because I used to feel that we are writing for YouTube and not the stage, and now even that is gone. Now you're writing for a reel and not for stage. दिमाग में होप चल रहा है कि how will this look in 60 seconds? No? ये कहाँ तक जाएगा, दूर तक जाएगा कि नहीं जाएगा?
मैं अभी तक तो वैसा नहीं सोच रहा, पर मतलब मेरा मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव अभी है कि मेरे को स्टेज पे अपनी एक्ट सुधारनी मतलब व्हाटएवर, आई वांट टू इंप्रूव माय सेल्फ, आई वांट टू बी, तो मेरा मेन मोटिव वही है, क्योंकि हमारा मेन काम तो यही है ना, यहाँ पे आके खुशियां तो यही हैं, मतलब बाकी सब तो एंसिलरी है जो भी तुमने बना दिया, पर आई वांट टू बी वेरी गुड एट माय मेन जॉब, मतलब इसमें आई वांट टू बी प्राउड ऑफ व्हाट आई एम सेइंग, व्हाट आई एम डूइंग.
And even if that takes years, is okay.
Yeah, मतलब जर्नी का ही तो मजा है ना.
That is true.
A lot of people ask me कि तुम जब कॉमिक्सटान जीते थे तुम्हारी शक्ल पे कुछ खुशी क्यों नहीं थी ऑन स्टेज जब उन्होंने अनाउंस किया था.
Yeah.
कि didn't one because मेरा सेट इतना अच्छा हुआ था कि मुझे पता था मैं जीतूंगा, तो लगा ठीक है. But secondly also because it's about that, कितना क्लीशेड है ये ना कि it's about the journey. But it is. मजा ही वही है ना कि पता नहीं कल क्या होने वाला है. If you know कल क्या होने वाला है, अगर मुझे कोई फ्यूचर बता दे कि सुन तू 2 साल में तू इंडिया का सबसे बड़ा कॉमिक होगा, तो फिर क्या है?
Because once the lights go out, it becomes lonely very soon. No matter how big a show you've done.
Yeah.
People have those physical milestones in their mind कि 200 टिकट बेचना है, 500 बेचना है, ऑडी बेचना है, और ब्रॉडवे पे करना है. उसके बाद भी सुना तो आपको अकेले है ना. और whatever your life is.
ये वही है ना, ये डिजायर है तुम्हारे that you think will give you happiness but they don't. Why do you want to do a 200 seater, a 1000 seater show? Because that inflates your ego, right? It makes you feel bigger. वाह मेरा ये हो गया. No, it's never going to be enough unless you are enough by yourself.
Yeah. Have there been moments specifically in your memory that were high elation? Like, do you remember when you were the happiest in your life? Need not be 1 or 2, like just in general. Like, are there clear memories? You know, this time or this day I was flying.
I was extremely happy in college because
Generally.
हाँ, क्योंकि एक तो पूरी जिंदगी पढ़ाकू बच्चा था, ठीक है, और फिर पहली बार थी फ्रीडम, और मैं गोवा में था, बिट्स गोवा में.
Oh yeah, your bits go.
हाँ, मतलब सोचो पूरी जिंदगी ऐसे इतना तुम रिस्ट्रिक्शन में व्हाटएवर, एंड देन सडनली ऐसे छोड़ दिया कि जाओ बेटा गोवा में पढ़ाई करो भाई, एंजॉय. तो वो बहुत ही सही टाइम था, बिकॉज कॉलेज सबके लिए सही होता है obviously, you know.
Although you can't go out of the campus there, except
Okay, after 5:30 p.m. till 10:30. 5 hours is enough to get high and then sober down a little bit. Which is the objective.
Yeah, 5 hours enough to go through all of Goa actually. Yeah.
तो वो बहुत सही था. बाकी उसके यार मैं ना थोड़ा वैसे ही थोड़ा डिप्रेस टाइप का आदमी रहा हूँ. एक डिस्पोजिशन जो तुम्हारी होती है ना कुछ लोग की होती है वैसे. Obviously now that I have perspective about it, I'm trying to change it. But मैं थोड़ा वैसा ही उदास सा ही रहा हूँ. तो उदासी के दिन बहुत याद रहते हैं, खुशियों में रहते नहीं, क्योंकि दिमाग थोड़ा वैसा ना.
Depressed किस्म का आदमी. That's a good name for a stand-up show also.
Depressed किस्म का आदमी.
I also have the 4 words that a Delhi solo should have by law. I used to play this party game that come up with any 4 words in Hindi, it will become a solo show in
Delhi. Become a solo show in Delhi or the name of a video in Delhi.
Yeah.
Chair, table और मेरी माँ.
मम्मी ने कहा ये फनी था. मैं आ रहा हूँ, मैं जा रहा हूँ.
ठीक है, दिल्ली में लोगों के पास स्पेशल में डालने लायक जोक्स होते हैं.
I agreed. The thing is, I don't even feel attached to Mumbai anymore. Mumbai is actually hometown for me because you don't have a hometown. Ancestors came from, not ancestors, दादाजी came from Karachi, जो आज तक बोल नहीं सकते. तो पर मुंबई ही कर रहा है. Now with all the traveling, I don't have an attachment much anymore. I feel it's so narrow, no, to feel attached to a neighborhood or a place. ये हमारी गलियाँ, हमारा खाना, हमारा ये. तो कभी कभी लोग लिखते कमेंट्स मेरे बम्बई में ना क्या बम्बई से मुझे घंटा फर्क नहीं पड़ता है. It's just one more city for me. But I do want to do something for the scene again. It is going down. Like after the pandemic, fewer venues also, and also I feel the whole art form has gone back by a couple of years because there are no new people coming in. And unless new comics come in, you don't feel the urgency to do better yourself sometimes. Because कोई आ ही नहीं रहा आपके सामने कब ना competition में ना inspiration के तौर पे. Sometimes you see a young person also doing well. It pushes you a bit.
अरे बहुत फटती है मेरी नए लोग को देख के भाई.
तो वो है ही
यार ये तो आगे निकल जाएगा. तो हाँ वो important है, definitely important है to see newer people.
Because senior comics I feel like too comfortable. उनको पता है तो चलने ही वाला है कुछ सालों तक, कोई है ही नहीं पीछे. Imagine there are 4 more busties in the scene right now.
नहीं ये एक ही काफी है यार. हमारे वीडियो को देखता नहीं है.
Exactly, but there are 4 more like him. Then imagine how much competition you would feel at least.
And that's the good way of looking at it, right? That competition is better for everybody.
Yeah.
Narrower ways जो initial insecurity आती है, but then you think about it कि it's better. 4 बस्ती हैं, इतने नए लोग देखने वाले हैं, उतनी audience फिर normal show में भी आ सकती है. तो competition is always good.
Yeah.
Which is why I feel like मतलब the bigger comics नहीं है लोगों के अंदर ना give back to the scene वाली भावना नहीं है लोगों में, because it's a very fragmented scene anyway. तो नहीं होता लोगों में, मतलब should be there.
Maybe everybody is struggling at their own level. अभी उसके ऊपर जाना है और उसके ऊपर जाना है. मेरे बाजू वाले के पास और बड़ी गाड़ी है.
तो थोड़ा तो तुम्हें लगना चाहिए ना कि यार इसी सीन से तो हम पल बढ़ कर निकले हैं. Gave so much to us, bikes and all that. थोड़ा तो give back वाला.
I think it's a good depressed point to end the podcast at. Anything that we were talking and we didn't finish when we had anything comfortable?
मेरे को घंटा याद रहेगा. बहुत मर गए to dementia. सही था बहुत अच्छा था, बहुत मजा.
The dementia thing too serious.
नहीं, I have a very bad memory, so that's a problem because कुछ मैं लोग से कॉमिक्स से मिलता हूँ कि ओपन माइक में वहाँ पे कि हाय निशांत कह रहे हैं भैया हम चौथी बार मिल रहे हैं यार. तो और it's also because comedy when you meet, when you're doing so many shows and all that, you meet so many new people on a daily basis, right? अलग cities आ रहे हो, थोड़ा difficult, वैसी memory खराब है. But anyway,
I heard that people who have dementia, they actually tend to live longer.
Because you're not burdened by nostalgia and memories and pain and suffering. I'm genuinely serious about it. I want to go out of the world crazy, so that you don't have end of life anxiety. No? You don't know what's happening.
This is going to be a set. I can see it.
A lot of my set is on these lines only. But yeah, it's a good point. This should be a set.
Yeah.
It's always been in my head. It should be a set.
Yes.
Thank you, Punit. This is a good optimistic note to the podcast. और मेरे को सुसु भी आ रहा है तो.
Cool. All right. Thanks for being here.
Thank you very much for having me.
This is Beyond the Laughs with our friend Nishant Suri, and he will be doing a tour very soon.
हाँ करेंगे. वीडियो निकालूंगा उससे पहले, तो वो आप देख लेना, फिर टूर करूंगा. वो नहीं देखी तो फिर यहीं बैठे होंगे सीजन 2 के लिए.
और इनको इंस्टा पे फॉलो कीजिए to see how somebody can manage not to put any post for the longest time. I think it's a feat.
Should be an example of how not to do social media.
my dear.